The Joker and Lil Jen finna break y'all on something proper. Like this, biatch.
Man, these folk biz as a motherfucker.
Yo, BK, go and drop that dope ass shit, man.
I only fuck with those, only fuck with me. Or something paper games, some lame paper cheats. I keep me a knife and a meter just in case. A coward's in my face, let's the pace. Oh, when you stay in life, step me home, I'm on cheese. Mr. D, me alone, that's the cone, it's some cheese. No these come in all shapes, all side colors. Good be your best friend, cousin or brothers. I rob them all just to see who get the best. Walk in the back, put the loot in the poker sack. Slap on the guard, hands on the pass. Eyes on the dope, and my pocket was ass. Hands on the trigger, go big as some goggles. If it do resist, you may not see the marble. I'm in there, out of there, the police couldn't get me. But I made a slip, had a chick with me. Don't turn around, give me the fucking cheese trick, don't make a sound. Show me where the keys at, they ain't on the ground. Know that your pocket back, or I fuck you down. Can I fuck the dude that, don't turn around. Give me the fucking cheese trick, don't make a sound. Show me where the keys at, they ain't on the ground. Know that your pocket back, or I fuck you down.
That's right, motherfuckers. It's on. When it's on, and it is on. It is on. It is on. The counteroffensive. Whoa! The counteroffensive is on. I knew it. I knew Belgrade. How the fuck you say it? I knew that shit was a prelude. I knew it. And here we have it. It has begun. War bloggers have agreed. And we all know the war bloggers are never wrong. The war bloggers are never wrong. So it's on. Sorry, Davey. It's on. It's on. When it's on, it's on. And it is on. I'm having a lot of fun. Welcome to the News Underground. I am Abandoned Nihilism. And I am way too far to the right. Need to fix myself here. Hold on, I gotta recombobulate myself. I gotta do this every stream. Is there any way to avoid this? Honestly. Help me. Someone configure my stream so my stream doesn't suck like all the other streamers. They just get all their fans do all the cool shit for them. Oh, here's some artwork my fan made from me, and it's like super cool. All I have is a chat room filled with cool people. No, it's cool. I have the coolest chat on Twitch, actually. Not just a bunch of howling animals, you know, trying their 10-minute comedy session. I actually have people that are willing to think. When I do have people, it doesn't look like I have anybody. Who are you talking about, bro? Who are you talking about? But no, big props to Bandit, Slum Soldier Volume 1, full tape. This entire album is banging. Was enjoying it while setting this up. Got to keep this quick. This is a news flash. So we're going to keep it real tight. Real tight. And yep, that's right. We're jumping right into Ukraine right away. You know, Davey in the Discord here. Belgrade went well. I gotta say, I mean, the media apparatus, the military bloggers and the mainstream media are doing a really good job of not talking about the whole Hitler's hammer thing. Whoa. They're avoiding that subject really well. And they're just talking about how they Ukraine basically employed these fucking maniacs, these suicidal maniacs, to just test Russia's security, to just check them. Be like, see, they're not even paying attention to their own shit. Oh, we're worried about being invaded. They're not even watching their own border. Watch. It's like your crazy ass friend that just does something totally suicidal just to prove that, you're a pussy. You're like, holy shit, dude, you could have died. You're like, yeah, but look, see, they're not even watching their border. We just went in and occupied their town for a couple days. This shit is absolutely wild. You never get to see an empire like Russia get checked like that. Get motherfucking chin checked. Get motherfucking, you know what I mean? Like fucking flinched. Not even watching their own border. Yeah, no, they're fucking Nazis, man. Whatever you want to call them, separatists. They're fucking Nazis. They are straight up Nazis. The motherfucking guy I commented on the video, I was like, oh wow, he's got a big ass beard. Look at that, dude. Motherfucker calls himself Hitler's Hammer. Hitler's Hammer. Here's the question I have to the doubters, though. They're both fucking fascist, but until I see proof otherwise. But here's the thing. Here's what I have to say to the Aaron Mates, to the Glenn Greenwalds that are like, look, see. Look, they're wearing the Ukrainian flag next to literally a Ku Klux Klan, image. He's got a little Ku Klux Klan patch right next to his Ukrainian flag there, and he's fighting for Ukraine. See, we told you. To the haters, I want to ask you something. What else should one do with a fucking Nazi? You got a Nazi willing to fight and die for you, right? Whatever their fucking reason. Who fucking cares? They're Nazis. Whatever the fucking reason is, they want to fight and die for you. Does one punch that gift horse in the mouth? Hey, you want to do something no sensible army would ever, would really attempt to, especially one that is like, very short on men, and resources. Would you really try, the suicide mission? That makes us look bad as well, like a kind of like pretend invasion of Ukraine, right? Like, hey, can we do this? Yeah, sure, I guess. We'll give you a little artillery support. What else are you supposed to do with Nazis that want to die? Send them to the front line. Send them on a suicide mission. I mean, okay, kick them out. But then you just have a bunch of terrorists. These guys are going to do violence anyway. It does look bad. They shouldn't have been allowed to wear the fucking flag. They shouldn't have been allowed to wear the fucking Ukrainian flag. I got images in the Discord of these guys putting the Ukrainian flag next to the fucking Ku Klux Klan white hood. And put them in jail. Yeah, okay. Don't use them. Don't, you're at war. You're in a war of attrition with an empire whose like entire shtick is I'm just gonna outlast you in men and resources. That's Russia's whole battle strategy. So you're in a war of attrition. You got the clock ticking on Western support for, and you got these, on Western support for your country, right? And military support for your country. So you're in this war of attrition. You got the clock ticking on the Western support, and you got a bunch of fucking fascists that are bowdy bowed to go fuck up your enemy, make a huge distraction, something your regular army would never want to try to achieve. That'd be suicidal, and it's stupid, for international optics reasons. Don't ally with Nazis. They would go on their own and be partisans, fine, but not official military. They should not have been allowed to wear the fucking Ukrainian flag. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. We got to draw a line on this shit. You know, there's two, this is the danger of that NAFO shit, of the normalization, right? Of the normalization. Why were they allowed to wear the Ukrainian flag? See, no, and exactly, Woke Patriot, I'm not okay with it. And I don't know if I agree with your equivocation there, or whatever the fuck the word is, about, you know, equating those two things, tomato here. I think, you know, I think there's some differences there, but it's not much. It's not much. A Nazi's a fucking Nazi. The guy calls himself Hitler's hammer. What do? I mean, Woke Patriot, would you be at least somewhat satisfied if Zelensky, after the war is over, purged his military of these Nazi elements? At the very least, went through anybody that has a tattoo, right? They love their little fucking tattoos. Pro-Ukraine people, Nazis for the dangers absorbed in the Ukraine. Look, every country has these fucking bastards. Okay, yeah, there's, you know, everyone has a history with World War II fascism, but it goes way back. This is just a natural tendency. This is like the, you know, antichrist to democracy. You know what I mean? Anywhere there's a democracy, there's the looming danger of fascism. Ready to swoop in and offer instant solutions. You know, but under Ukraine command, I'm not okay with allying fighting alongside Nazis. Yeah, I hear that. Look, man, if I'm a commander in a war of attrition and I got a bunch of bastard fucking Nazis that want to die, and they're like, give us some guns, we'll go fuck shit up. I'd give them the guns, but I'd say, you take that fucking flag off your goddamn chest. That's what I'd tell them. I'd say, here's your fucking guns, you asshole. Now take that flag off your chest and tell all your men to do the same. I don't want to see a single Ukrainian flag on any one of you out there. No, I need to know more about this Russian Freedom Legion, dude. I'm sorry, Leon. I'm not going to agree until I see further proof that we're only dealing with one super neo-Nazi fascist group who were allowed to proudly put the Ukrainian flag next to the fucking KKK white hood. It's a problem. All right, this is a news flash. We got to stick to it instead of my ranting. But I thank you for bringing that up, because I do want to address that. You know, knowing more about who these people are, doing some research, digging into it, you know, since last Saturday, I believe. Or no, it was last Monday. It's very disturbing. But what do? You're in a war of attrition. You're in a war of attrition, right? You know, you're fighting for survival. And we all agree that Ukraine is technically fighting for its survival. Right? We've seen Russia's attempts to erase Ukraine. That is not hyperbolic. That is happening. Right? Still, though, a Nazi's a fucking Nazi. You know what I mean? So these are, I'm not even sure what the fuck are we even looking at. Footage of 2 unidentified drones waking up the residents of Russian Krasnodar this morning. I see. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and support these fucking Nazis, but I'm not gonna sit here and deny that it's not exactly what should have happened. You know, that was the October surprise before the counteroffensive, right? I knew it. It was like, yeah, okay, because it's the artillery support that says everything. It's one thing to let a bunch of yahoos walk around your border, and unmolested while they poke into Russian territory. It's another thing to soften up some of these harder targets and then send these guys in. That kind of coordination, that was telling me this is the prelude. This is the October surprise before the big show. And here and it's happening. The big show is on. And it's not all starting at once. This isn't D-Day. The Russian guy here. You got to drop that Soviet bullshit. No one finds it cool anymore. No one found that shit cool in the 60s, man. That was like the peak of that bullshit. Soviet hammer and sickle nonsense.
Former Air Vice Marshal Sean Bell is here. Sean, tell us first of all what you know about that Dnipro attack.
It was the latest wave of Russian strikes, missile strikes across the country, and in the past 24 hours, and as you say, it appears that the hospital at Dnipro was struck. Casualties, 2 died, but the number of injured is growing each time we report on it. It's north of 30 at the moment. When you see some of the devastation, it's no great surprise. I suspect that will increase even further. The Russian missile attacks were against Kyiv and a whole variety of different targets. The Ukrainians claim that they've shot down 10 missiles and 20 drones, but inevitably some get through. There were 2 oil facilities at Kharkiv that were also struck twice last night. The Russians appear to be targeting Ukrainian logistics support, which is, of course, in anticipation of their spring offensive is expected. But also Russian tactics seem to be now that they're attacking different cities on different nights to try to deluge the air defense systems of Ukraine. And despite however effective they are at doing that, some inevitably get through.
All right. And what about this news that Russia is moving ahead with...
I mean, yeah, 1918, what a year. I mean, I think about, like, I think he's talking about a revolution or something, but is it even possible to have those kind of old school style, Soviet style commie revolutions, Bolshevik style revolutions? Is it even possible to have that kind of massive change? This just massive movement that sweeps, this whole new system. Is that even possible now?
Its decision to deploy tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus.
We first broke this in March because President Putin announced he was going to forward deploy tactical nuclear weapons into Belarus. Yesterday, the 2 respective defense ministers met and signed up the requisite paperwork. In fact, President Lukashenko left that and then said that the missiles were already on their way, but we understand the special storage facilities that are required won't be actually available to the end of the month. Now,
okay, so through a coup. But anyway, I'm just covering some of this mainstream stuff here. We're just getting through it. Sorry to interrupt it.
Face value, this is more about shaking the rhetoric around nuclear and putting a threat and putting fear into the West. Because the harsh reality is you don't have to forward deploy nuclear weapons. They can travel halfway around the world, so there's no benefit, and they're really unlikely to actually ever be used. So what's the real story here? The real story is that President Putin has made no secret of his desire to try and increase Russian influence, restore the Soviet Union. He's invaded Ukraine, and he's actually installed a puppet regime in Lukashenko across in Belarus.
This is nuts, man. This Lukashenko guy, man. Was the poisoning? Maybe the poisoning was like Putin. Hey, we've poisoned you with this fast-acting poison. You have literally 12 hours to live. You either pledge allegiance to me and pledge fealty to me, because we're going to be doing all this crazy shit to your country and you're going to go along with it, or you're going to die. Is literally your 2 options, and here's the antidote. Maybe he did some shit like that, man. Are there actual poisons like that exist, that you can actually do something like that? Fucking Mission Impossible style, time, like a timer poison. Does that shit exist?
He's increasingly been putting more soldiers on the ground at Belarus by conducting operations against Ukraine from that soil, air attacks from there, now putting nuclear weapons in there as well, all designed to increase Russian influence in Belarus, but importantly, put more soldiers into Belarus itself. Now, Lukashenko, he's kept in power by Putin. He's been described as the last dictator in Europe. And although he's got a really difficult line to tread because he wants to avoid riots, which he's had in the past.
Well, that's really interesting, Comrade Chicken. Thank you for that insight. I don't know. I don't know if Lenin is kind of right on that one. It seems from my point of view. Broken clock, I guess. Don't you fucking dare clip that. Lenin was right. Fucking bull.
But he also doesn't want to keep out of step with President Putin. Apparently, he was fairly lukewarm about some of the initiatives Putin had to get even closer alignment between the two countries. Coincidentally, his health declined around that time, but he's only recently been seen back again. But let's be quite clear, this initiative about the nuclear weapons being deployed is probably less for an international audience and is almost certainly Russia just tightening the noose gently around Belarus. This is a Russian invasion of Belarus, or a phase of it, but by stealth.
And we've seen this. This, you know, Russia has been trying to be slick about it, but we have seen this. They like do some weird cultural assimilation kind of shit. By force, legitimately by force. So we're going to get into this, but I did want to get into this one. It's on. Warthog Defense declaring it. It's on, folks. Wake up. Counteroffensive is here. Knock, knock, knock. Lenin was an interesting feller. Yeah, I bet he was. I've heard enough about Lenin to know. Che Guevara, too. You know, it's like, how I don't know, man. Do we have to be shooting people in the back of the head? You know, do we got to be tying people up and shooting people in the back of the head? Is that the only way to handle this revolution? I don't know. I just hate that. I hate that, the mercilessness of some of these characters, right? These revolutionaries. Because I want to agree with them. You know, I want to be like, yeah, we need change. We need to fight for that. We need to fight and potentially die for it. I agree with some of that. But it's also like, okay, now, you know, we got a little bit of power. Let's start killing folks. Like, man, there's got to be a better way. But anyway, folks, Warthog Defense, it's on. It's on, folks. Where's my... If I got something good for this. Yeah, here we go. That's loud as fuck. Jesus Christ. I tell you, every place it's incredibly loud.
Russian air defense activity is reported.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, Comrade Chicken. That's what I'm talking about. You know, could we have a little less of that shit? You even got, and it doesn't, you don't need to go back far. Barack Obama, Winston Churchill. You know what I mean? We got these characters that are like bloodstained and they're supposed to be our heroes. And it's like, man, I don't know if we're learning the right lessons from these guys. Anyway, back to it.
Somewhere near the military airport in Morozovsk in Rostov region, which is 180 miles from the front line. Air defense appears to have shot down some kind of aircraft near the Morozovsk military airfield.
If you can't quite see what the hell's going on, there's some like fire streak coming down in the night sky right here. Does the end justify the means? That was that famous question that Data presented to Captain Picard on Star Trek Next Generation. It was like, sir, you know, I've analyzed history, and, you know, terrorism sometimes works. You know, terrorism was the start of great nations, you know, political terrorism. Doesn't it work sometimes? Picard was like, oh, I don't know, Data. And then they banned the episode in fucking Ireland. Oh, we can't have the IRA and inspired by Captain Picard and Data. Same excuses proliferated for relentless killing in wartime also apply to revolution, in my opinion. You got to have an excuse, right? There's got to be an excuse for why you're smoking, motherfuckers. There has to be an excuse, and it's like there has to be a better way. And I do think, you know, we through technology, you know, communication technology mainly, you know, we have inadvertently kind of reached a new epoch in terms of understanding for fellow man. I mean, how, you know what I mean? How merciless could, you know, I mean, what we saw, and we're seeing it actually right now, you know, with Russia. I saw this in the news. Russia is, you know, banning all media from showing dead Russian soldiers and also showing like caskets coming home. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's the same exact thing that the United States did. You know, when we were, you know, in the height of our Iraq war, Afghanistan war, and basically the ban has stuck ever since for mainstream media. You're not allowed to show dead American troops. You're not allowed to show dead American caskets coming home, from our war adventures. You're not allowed to see that. And as technology becomes ubiquitous, as people are seeing more and more, people are like, inadvertently kind of holding to account, some of the most powerful entities, just by exposing how merciless they could be. I mean, imagine the My Lai massacre. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Some say My Lai. I think it's My Lai massacre in Vietnam. Imagine the My Lai massacre in the modern smartphone era. Right. That famous image was the one that got out. But imagine if it was a video, still image from a video. But imagine if it was, hundreds of, cell phone videos of, women and children crying out in terror and pain as American-made napalm rains on top of them. How long could the United States sustain that kind of brutality without a reason, right? Without some kind of reason. And you would need a really good one to be frying up women and children, right? Obviously, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, this new technology. Obviously, it's kind of a new fancy collar to put around our neck, right? It's a new fancy chains to put around our wrists. But it also has a inadvertent effect of freeing us until they clamp it down, of course.
Means that Ukraine is continuing with the raids deep into Russian territory.
Anyway, so
and the Russian Ministry of Defense in Moscow is on fire again. No comment is needed here, I think. Big explosions happened in occupied...
Man, I tell you, man, they be smoking them cigarettes, man. What the fuck is going on? I can't wait. Someone has to have the dirt. We have to eventually get some of this dirt out of here. We got all the dirt from Stalin's regime, one of the most, hardcore lockdown authoritarian regimes. Like, we got all the dirt from Stalin's regime. Hopefully one day we'll get all the dirt from Putin's regime. I can't wait, dude. It's going to be so juicy.
No comment is needed here, I think. Big explosions happened in occupied Berdyansk last night.
Maybe it was just a drone.
There are military installations there, but the target is unknown.
Yeah, woke patriot. That's interesting, right? Would some of these revolutionaries have acted differently, knowing that their brutality would be broadcast across the world, instantly? I don't know. I think so. I think it inadvertently holds people more accountable, which is why we've seen these authoritarian regimes pull out all the stops.
And it sounds big.
To clamp down on it, right? And some of these Russian towns are beautiful, man. Why would Putin do this to these people?
Back to Russia. Prison colony IK-8 is on fire in Almetyevsk, Tatarstan.
Yikes, prison colony, huh? He wouldn't hide what he is. Then he wouldn't be as lionized. Ooh, Jesus. Well, if that's the case, if he was a killer and proud of it, then social media would, you can't get away with that kind of shit on social media. The comment section would have been like, yeah, what am I supposed to like this? He's all like cutting people's heads off or some shit, getting a big kick out of it, or like shooting people in the back of the head and doing a selfie. Like, yeah, man. I don't know, dog.
Train carrying crushed stone derailed.
They don't, a lot of these guys, these killers like Stalin, and all these folks, they didn't kill like that. Maybe their minions did, right? But they didn't really kill like that. Stalin really didn't, did he ever, was there any accounts of Stalin actually personally executing anybody? Did he even witness executions himself personally? Maybe for some of the big special ones. I don't know. And another train derailment. The goddamn train derailment villain snatched. We need a good name for a train derailment supervillain. What would be a good name? The derailer? I like the derailer. That's not bad. Yeah, okay. First try. You guys got any ideas of what we could name a train derailment themed supervillain?
To President Zelensky, Podolyak says that the Ukrainian counteroffensive has been going on for days. It is an intense war on 1,100 miles of border.
See, Davey, it's officially declared. If Davey's watching, so don't roll your eyes. Counteroffensive is on.
but the preparatory measures have already started. Now it's much clearer what is going on for the past few days.
It's on.
A controllare gli effetti di ritorno della sua invasione su larga scala.
Good news. Sweden has decided to provide Ukrainian pilots with training in flying the JAS-39 Gripen
All right,
fighter.
hey, that's something. Fucking Mr. Neutrality crawled out of his little morally safe, haven cave filled with hot Swedish guys and gals. Man, they're all hot over there. No wonder they don't want to leave their little sauna. Come out to help this effort. Congratulations, Sweden. Welcome to the effort.
Aircraft.
Oh, wait, is that Switzerland? That's Switzerland, dog. God, I always get those mixed up. I get Finland and fucking... I get Swindland and Finland and... God damn it.
This was
Never
confirmed by
mind.
the Swedish Ministry of Defense to SVT News. And that means that the Ukrainians will get this fighters in the future. Dam at Karlivska Reservoir in Donetsk Oblast was blown up.
Oh my God.
Its location about is 6 miles from nearest Russian-held territory just beyond Vodyany.
Holy
Dam
shit.
reported to have been hit by the Russians, possibly an air or artillery strike. Local officials have stated that this has caused significant flooding of communities downstream of the reservoir, with emergency
Wow.
services working
Fuck
to
you,
rescue
Russia.
the residents of these communities.
Wow, fuck
Because
you,
of this,
Russia.
the villages of Halitsinivka, Bajani 1, and Bajan 2 are under threat of flooding. The dam...
So Ukraine did have in the past blown up some dams, I think, in the Dnipro River, knowing that it was going to flood these areas, but I don't think they did it. I don't think they surprised a bunch of the people that were living there. I'm pretty sure they did everything they could to evacuate those areas that were going to be flooded. But it looks like Russia just said, fuck you.
Dam is also of military importance. It is one of the roads used to supply Ukrainian troops in the Donetsk direction.
Wow. Holy fuck nuts. Can't know who hit it. Shit. You fucking bail, dude. Oh my God, that was a nasty one. Look at that.
Ukrainian boys after the prisoner exchange at Bakhmut come
Frightening.
home. Meanwhile, there is information that the deal was made between Ukraine and Wagner independently of Russia. Russian media
Oh really?
do not report.
Ooh, that's juicy. That's juicy. Wagner set up because they're pulling out. They're like, okay, let's do a quick prisoner exchange here. That's juicy. That's juicy. These poor sons of bitches, man. You're getting held prisoner by Wagner. Oof.
Report on Russian soldiers coming home. General Zaluzhny, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine.
It is a fact that the ancillary portions of the nuclear power plant were hit with Russian, at least according to those sources, were hit with Russian arms. Unimportant, structures that didn't, have any kind of components that actually were for the nuclear power plant. But yeah, Russia likes to use nuclear power plants. That's why they went to Chernobyl, because they know Ukraine isn't gonna fucking HIMARS a nuclear power plant, so they can kind of turn it into a handy dandy little HQ.
Пропаганди, а також різні конспірологічні версії від так званих
Stop bombing yourself.
Сьогодні, 25 травня, я хочу відкрити
They're just trying to scare people.
тайну.
They really are. They're just trying to scare
Тайну
us.
про головнокомандувача
They're not gonna do it.
Сил України.
They're fucking pussies.
Щиро дякую всім українцям. Разом ми обов'язково переможемо. І не тільки сьогодні.
I shouldn't say that. They're not pussies. I don't mean to be like offensive here, but orc is kind of an appropriate comparison. I don't like to use it though, but in the Warhammer lore, the orc race is very wants war regardless, like war first and then everything else. And I'm not saying that's all Russians. That's why we need to stay away from that stuff. But the way they fight war, the way that they actually fight is like very similar to how the orcs fight. Just wave after wave, body after body, it's putts along in some rust bucket, that, can barely fucking function, breaks down most of the time, held together on a hope and a prayer, putzing around with a bunch of half-trained soldiers that are just, are killers. They're out there. They're not surrendering. A lot of these guys, they're not throwing up the white flag. They're getting fucking shredded out there. That's where the comparison is accurate, right? So it's frightening. It's frightening. So I should be very careful with how I describe, these guys and Russia in general, right? Got to be careful about that.
Russian propagandist justifies the destruction of Bakhmut and Mariupol. We couldn't act differently, and says Russia must use tougher military methods.
I've been seeing this chick on the translated Russia, video channel, Russia Watch. She is unbelievably stupid, like unbelievably like. Do people really buy this shit? You know what I mean? But then I look at like Maria Bartiromo, Maria Bartiromo. I look at her and I'm like, oh yeah, there's not much difference there, is there? See, the whole wave after wave myth just not true. It's been used, but it isn't true. What are they staging the fields filled with bodies, corpses lying in the fucking fields? Are they staging the videos of Russians crawling over their own dead comrades in their own trenches? Kidding me? Oh, it's a myth. Ain't a fucking myth, man. They're not taking a nap.
This is not just Putin's war. He just follows his electorate's bloodthirst.
Я очень уважаю нашего президента за его волю, за то, что ему...
Get that apologetic bullshit out of here, man. There's hundreds of hours of videos of fields all across Ukraine, scattered, filled with corpses of Russians. Not just around Bakhmut, but Avdiivka, up in the north. They just over there, the fight over there in Kherson, they keep crossing over and taking excursions crossing the Dnipro River. They just leave. There's bodies everywhere, man. What are you talking about? Wave after wave after wave of them. They just keep coming. The intercepted phone calls, are they all fake? Are the intercepted phone calls of soldiers that are like, yeah, I don't know. I've been here for 15 minutes. I don't know what the hell's going on. That's all fake too? The fuck is this bullshit?
Дай бог на его месте оказаться. Но я считаю, что...
No, I'm talking about Ukraine taking incursions into Dnipro.
Специальной военной операции, вот в том виде, как она ведется сейчас, эту войну остановить невозможно, а слишком жесткая и жестокая против нас ведется. У нас еще моральные принципы все время. Мы не боимся, что вот сейчас только начали понимать, что да, придется бить и по населенным пунктам.
They've been doing it throughout the entire conflict. It's done nothing but inflame and embolden Ukraine. To double down. Outnumbered. You're not even, I swear to, I don't think you're paying attention to what's happening. I think you're talking square out your butt. Any modest estimate of troop numbers shows that Russia has Ukraine 3-1, 4-1, some estimates of available troops ready to go. Where's Davey? I don't have to. This is the news flash. I don't have time to fight with a fucking chicken right now over these numbers. But Davey would be flipping his fucking lid right now at your bullshit. So you wait until Daddy Davey gets here to start talking your nonsense. Holy shit. Daddy Davey, when he gets here, he's gonna slap you.
Поэтому надо уже вот эти вещи отбросить и надо начинать воевать или проводить, если хотите. Я не буду противоречить нашему президенту. Проводить специальную военную операцию более жесткими военными методами.
French philosopher
You wait
Bernard
until
Henry
Dad
Levy.
gets home.
I have never once heard any of Ukrainians say the war should be stopped at any
This
cost.
is amazing.
That we need to compromise, for example, on
Listen
the
to
issue
this
of
guy.
Crimea. Such nonsense can only
Bitch,
be heard
I'm
on
not
the
your
red...
motherfucking concierge. You're getting your motherfucking ass timed out. I am sick of you, bitch. Get the fuck out of my face. Be gone. Holy shit. I'm waiting. I'm trying to produce a fucking show. I'm not your fucking Kinkos. The fuck out of here.
carpets of the comfortable West.
Told you, you're waiting for dad to get home.
Гинуть, втрачають родичів і хоронять власних дітей. І я жодного разу не чув, аби хтось із них казав, що війну потрібно припинити будь-якою ціною. Що потрібно йти на компроміс, наприклад, щодо Криму.
Call customer service, you got a problem.
Можна почути лише на червоних доріжках комфортного заходу. Я теж хочу, аби війна закінчилась. Але закінчилась по-справжньому, а не на деякий час. І для того, аби справді закінчити війну, є лише один шлях. Це 100% перемога над Путіним. Тобто повна капітуляція Путіна та російської армії. Тільки так можна зупинити війну. Якщо ми зупинимо війну, як кажуть деякі дипломати, компромісом, це буде тимчасова зупинка. І війна відновиться за кілька тижнів,
this whole time.
Це дасть Путіну змогу чи його наступнику поповнити свої ресурси та переозброїтися. Отже, ті, хто хоче, аби війна в Україні припинилась, мають знати, що для цього є лише один шлях – допомогти українцям здобути повну перемогу.
And a complete victory is pushing Russia back to its borders.
Російська гармата, один російський літак на контрольованих ними злетних смугах, одне судно в порту, доти буде екзистенційна загроза для України, а отже і для Європи.
Yeah, and until there's a change in the Putin regime, until something changes in the Putin regime, either Putin is replaced or the regime changes in some way or another, this is the reality that we have to deal with. Russia is not going to accept a part of Ukraine, not after this. And if we give them a foothold in Crimea, it will embolden them. It will embolden them. I mean, who knows what will happen in the next 10 years, right? The 5 to 10 years, right? Because you could say, okay, yeah, they're going to lick their wounds for X amount of years, and everything will be peaceful. But I am confident, and people far more intelligent than I am are also confident that there is a high likelihood that there will be another attempt to take Ukraine back if Russia is given any kind of conciliatory territory. And he also mentions there's no public support for this in Crimea. When they do these referendums, it is interesting, right? The most honest one that I've seen has shown that there is a Democratic majority that does not want to join, that wants to stay in Ukraine, but there is the highest amount of interest. Right, so I do think some conciliatory measures need to be taken for some of the citizens in Crimea that are accustomed to being Russian and Ukrainian. Right, I don't think they need to be forcefully culturally assimilated into the Ukrainian way. I think there does need to be some understanding that that a lot of these people were living a life where they were living under the Russian banner and also living under the Ukrainian banner, and now things are different, but we're going to help you along in that process. I'm not going to hold a gun to your head and force you to you're no longer allowed to speak Russian, like that kind of crazy nonsense. I think as long as Ukraine handles it in that way, handles it like a human being and not handles it like a dictator, like Putin would, then I think things will work out. And I do think it's important that Crimea stay in Ukraine for this very reason, that this international bully, needs to be checked. I think it's important.
Росіян щодо ядерної зброї, зерна чи будь-чого іншого.
New Zealand Haka
With that said, it is pretty fucking privileged to say that, coming from the dominant Western empire, the United States, right? Does the United States have a right to check anybody? Right? Is it even to the murderers or to the to the altruistic, right? To the weird Hugo Chavez types? Does the United States have any right to interfere, to do any of that? I think that's a fair question.
Combat dance to support the fighting spirit of the Ukrainian military.
but it's just theory, because the United States is going to do exactly what the United States wants, and we unfortunately are forced to live within that reality. We have to work within that framework, right? Well, this is a haka. I don't have time to show you a haka. If you've seen a haka, they scream. Haka. Yeah, scream. They do all those things. So it's a haka. All right, moving on to the next thing here. Let's see here. Yeah, so we have another Warthog defense. I'm loving these. I love watching these. So I love doing these mid shows. Doesn't look like too many people watch, so maybe I should just, stop trying to stream more during the week and just, stick to my weekend streams. But that's fine. I need to get more content out there, so it's fine. I'll talk to myself. Jesus Christ, look how young.
Reports that the Russian border in the Belgorod region was only lightly guarded by a small, mostly conscript force has highlighted...
Hey, Davey, I wish you were here earlier. Comrade Chicken talking a bunch of bullshit. Had to fucking time him out. Talking about how Ukraine has more troop numbers than Russia. Talking about, I'm waiting for my proof. I'm waiting for my proof. To the contrary. Saying that Ukraine has more troops than Russia. Absolutely ridiculous. Talking a bunch of... It sounded like a Vantic. You know what I mean? One of those Twitter Russian fucking supporters.
How Russia's border protection relies on young conscripts, who are poorly armed and barely trained. It was reported yesterday that the Graveron district of the Belgorod region, which was briefly captured by the Russian Volunteer Corps militia on Monday, was guarded only by 23 conscripts, plus 1 professional officer and 1 mobilized man. And this is a footage of a pair of Russian Su-34 bombers flying at ultra-low range and dropping bombs on a Russian Volunteer Corps position near the Graveron checkpoint in Belgorod.
Oh, he missed. Oh, brutal, bro. Look at that. He missed. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Look how low. Look how low to the ground.
This is a footage of a pair of Russian Su-34 bombers flying at ultra-low range and dropping bombs on a Russian Volunteer Corps position near the Graveron checkpoint in...
Oh, maybe he actually meant to hit that. This was Russia. This was Russia attacking the Russian volunteer group, the separatists.
Belgorod Oblast earlier this week.
He missed them all. Yeah. I think he was going for the building. Probably going for the building.
How they use unguided bombs. The state of the Russian Air Force is stuck in World War II.
They missed, yeah. What the fuck? That looks like anti-air. That looks like, anti-missile flares. Or did he drop one there? Fucking nice. Thank you for returning, by the way, Woke Patriot and Davey, and Comrade Chicken, if you ever come back. I couldn't take your bullshit. And Leon, thank you for coming back as well. Leon, hope your political career is going well, by the way, Leon, if you've stuck around. Okay, how long is this video? Does this need to be this long?
Soldiers of the
we can edit our fruitcake little watermarks in here, but we can't edit these things for time. What the fuck are we doing? Sitting in the plane? Some of us aren't military bloggers and totally enamored with the idea of sitting in an uncomfortable, AC 130 for fucking 30 hours. Come on, let's get to it. Snippety snap.
245th Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces retreat under fire from the Russian Volunteer Corps on May 23rd.
Yeah, another bullshit thing that Comrade Chicken was saying, that the wave after wave of Russian troops is a myth. That there's only a couple pictures of fields filled with Russians. That they're, that it's a myth that the Russians have been sending their troops into positions wave after wave. You believe that shit? It's all fake, Davey. It's all fake, man. And then this motherfucker had the audacity to ask for proof to his bullshit contrarianism, man. I flipped my lid. Motherfucker says he's not a commie. Then he comes in with that shit. Comrade. Every damn time. Every goddamn time. Can't trust him. Can't trust him. Motherfucking communist, dude. Can't trust
him. A factory in Russian-occupied Berdyansk was hit. The explosions are strong and
Daddy
cause
Davy
secondary
is here.
Explosions. I guess an ammunition depot was...
Daddy Davy is here, Comrade Chicken. Now go ahead and talk your bullshit. Talk your bullshit again. Thank you for coming back, by the way. And go ahead and repeat what you said. When I see it makes all these streamers cash in content. All that matters. Yeah, no, I'm getting rich, dude. I'm getting fat fucking paid off the Ukraine war. You bet. You got me. What a fucking asshole.
Hit by storm shadows.
No, there's some good communists, man. But I gotta tell you, I've met too many slimy bad actors. I've met too many slimy bad actors on the left that are all proud hammer and sickle wearing motherfuckers, man. So you know, to the good commies, woke patriot, OG Lee, the good commies out there, you got to do something about your fellow commies making y'all look bad, slimy ass motherfuckers. Telling y'all, sick of them. Sick of the bad actors on both sides. Obfuscating, misinformation.
And this are definitely secondary explosions.
Oof. Uh-oh. Boy, I bet that surprised the pupper, and that's probably a sound that pup's never heard. Oof.
A Russian woman living in the U.S. wrote, "Bakhmut is ours, thank you, Wagner." On her
Holy shit. This is like calling Hamburger Hill. This is like a bunch of Americans celebrating the victory of Hamburger Hill. What the fuck are you celebrating? What the fuck are you celebrating? A pile of dead corpses in a artillery pock-filled wasteland? Yeah, we got it. Big win. We got it, folks. We got it. It's a little elbow grease. We'll be right back in action. And everyone enjoy the new Russian freedom in Bakhmut. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Oh my goodness, honey. This is embarrassing.
Barrage in order to upset the Ukrainian neighbors that live on the same street as her. The Ukrainians tell her, "How can you write that after so many children killed? I know the talk about democracy, freedom of speech and all that, but please, can someone deport this Russians to Russia so they can..."
No, see, and that's the exact opposite of attitude that we need. Deport the Russian, deport them. No. That's not very helpful either. Okay? Laugh, ridicule, make fun, right? When they try to change laws, do everything you can to stop them democratically. But the idea that we're going to censor people into a free speech utopia, no, I'm sorry. Assholes get to be assholes. If you want to live free, if you want to live in a free society, assholes get to be assholes. Assholes should be allowed to tell us that they're assholes. Okay? Now, there is a difference between this kind of performative madness and doing what Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk and Sean Hannity do, right? There's a difference between telling everybody you're an asshole versus stochastic terrorism, versus, telling millions of people, trans people are trying to rape your children, right? There's a big difference there. There's a big difference there. What did I tell you, Davey? Man, Davey, get oh man, just try to breathe, Davey. Just try to breathe, man. Comrade Chicken over here. Just try to breathe. Yeah, Davey, I disagree. This need to deport them, I don't know. This need to deport them, I disagree. That's the kind of attitude that just makes us another tyrannical, authoritarian, you know, hellhole. Bro, the only people that made money in Afghanistan were, I guess, the media. You know, I mean, the media. By the time we were leaving Afghanistan, the media had all but forgotten Afghanistan. They made a lot of money off the first couple years at the start of the Afghanistan war, and then they basically just forgot about it. They just stopped talking about it. So really, the people that made the most money off Afghanistan war were the military-industrial complex. You know, was all the members of that, Halliburton, and all that. You have such a simplistic POV of things. I guarantee you don't believe in vaccines, and you believe the scientists are making a bunch of money by lying to everybody, and it's just a bunch of fake news about vaccines, and it's all a bunch of scientists trying to get rich. Am I right, Mr. D Live? Mr. Foreign Rebel? Oh my God, make it stop. Talk about the Confederacy? You mean that thing that lasted for 5 fucking years and then ended in a fucking embarrassing treaty? How old is your perm? This is all natural, baby. It's all motherfucking natural. You know it. You know, where's my, it's natural. These curls are natural. Maybe she's born with it. That's me. That's who they're talking about. That commercial, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. They're talking about me. My curls. Be jealous. Be jealous. No, you can't touch them.
Live in the country they love and admire.
Davey, you have a pretty twisted view on free speech, bud. She's taking it off. She's actually, I mean, should she be arrested now, comrade, Hair Davey? Zeke Heil Davey? I'm kidding, man. But she's taking it down. Should she just go to jail for a little bit? Should she lose her entire livelihood because she's a dumbass and she made a stupid mistake? Come on, Davey. You believe in the vax? Holy shit, the first D-Live guy to believe in the vaccine. Holy shit, you exist? The D-Live guy believes in the vaccine, guys. No way, no way. Let's see here. I got to read the rest of this. But I also believe that, yeah, there it is. Okay, there it is. Ah, there we go. Okay, I believe in the vax, but I also believe this COVID is BS. Yeah, nothing I want to do. So, yeah, okay. So you believe both things. And you're just being a contrarian. And you're not vaccinated. Are you vaccinated? You're not vaccinated, are you? You fucking liar. You fucking contrarian. You think you're clever? You're an embarrassment. I think it's their own house, Comrade Chicken. I think this is their own house. Sent back to the country. Bro, Davey, you're a fucking tyrant. You're a fucking tyrant, man. You don't believe in democracy then? You don't believe in free speech? You don't believe in, freedom? Right? Come on, Davey. Deport her? What, because she said something stupid on her garage? Man, that's fucked. That's actually fucked up. Just spread them. I don't take a shot every day or to... Yeah, see what I mean? You're not fucking vaccinated, you fucking hypocrite. You liar. You contrarian. You think you're clever. You think you're arguing. You think you're Jordan fucking Peterson. You're fucking Jorban fucking PP is what you are. You're an embarrassment. Get the fuck off D-Live and get a fucking life. You're not rebelling. You're making a fool of yourself.
When you
Canada
have to add
didn't
this
force
many
people to get
ERA
the
bricks
fucking
to your
vaccine.
tank, it's a clear
I live
sign you're
here.
driving something that is completely obsolete.
Yeah, Davey, you're correct. Davey, woke patriot, you're correct. It's possible to be pro-vax and skeptical of the way the pandemic was portrayed, exaggerated by the government media. It wasn't an exaggeration. Nothing was an exaggeration until we got the vaccine. And then the left, stopped using any kind of common sense. Canada didn't force us into the vaccine. Just because she's an immigrant, Davey, doesn't mean that she should be deported. Would you be okay with just maybe having an interview? You're just like, deport her? Jesus, man. That does generally get a guest deported. Okay. I mean, it is different when she's just a guest. Right? The United States hasn't declared war against Russia, though. If she's in the United States, I'm not even sure where she was. It all sounded very foreign, so I don't think she was in the United States. You're stuck 30 plus hours from home and you can't get on a plane or any form of transport. It's kind of forced. I mean, yeah, you got to get on a plane. Would you have preferred to just, would you have felt bad if you had COVID with no vaccine, full-blown COVID, and you traveled on an airplane? Would you feel bad about that? Murder calm? Maybe not. Maybe you're cool with it because you're into murder. You think killing people is cool? I don't know. Would you feel bad if you gave a bunch of people COVID because you weren't vaccinated and you had full-blown COVID and you're flying around on your planes, because you have to for work or whatever? Your freedom to not be vaccinated for a disease that is killing people is more important than killing people, right? That's the logic.
Russia, giant fire in
I think giving
Odinsovo,
COVID
suburb
to
of
people
Moscow.
is cool. Well, okay, that's a weird position, but okay. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what your position is, but I would feel bad. Personally, I would feel bad if I gave a bunch of people on a plane COVID. Wouldn't you? Wow.
These are said to be.
Wow, what a raging asshole. What a raging. No, I wouldn't. Literally. If you had full-blown COVID, got on a plane, and gave a bunch of people COVID, you wouldn't feel bad. No, I wouldn't. And you're proud of this? You're proud of this. You're like, I am a total full-blown asshole, and that is really cool. Pat me on my back. Is that really what's happening right now? Holy nutsack. Is anyone seeing this guy? Is anyone seeing this? You're still talking about commie bullshit over here. Anyone seeing this guy over here? You give a plane load of people COVID, and you're like, I don't feel bad. All right, I'll read the rest of it. Okay, the rest of it better be pretty good, because I didn't read the rest of the comment. I'll give you that. Let me read the rest of it here. Just give you benefit of the doubt. Okay. No, I wouldn't. When I had COVID, I was instructed to go to the public bus travel 30 meters to hospital for the test. So if government isn't worried about the spread, why should I? That was supposed to redeem you? That was supposed to redeem you? A whataboutism? For a fake? You think I even believe your story about what happened? And then even if that did happen, that's you interpreting that the government didn't care about the spread of COVID incorrectly? That was supposed to redeem you? Murder. Can I ask you a question? You want to play a video game? Or a game? I'm sorry, not a video game. I wish it was a video game. Do you want to play a game? It's a game show. Do you want to play a game? Would you be interested in playing a game with me? Murder? Be really fun. Be really fun if you did. All right. Okay. You're telling us who you are. You like games? Here we go, folks. Yes. All right. Here we go. 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 Ow. Ow. Welcome to everybody's favorite game show. Are you a dumbass? All right, here we go, folks. All right. Now, everyone knows the rules, but let me just refresh everybody. We're going to roll the dice, and that will pick a grade between 1 through 5. That will be Murder's question. Murder will have exactly 10 seconds to answer that question. If Murder gets it wrong, they get the ban. Yeah. Here we go. All right. For Murder's chance to stay in the chat, let's go ahead and roll this dice. Here we go. Are you ready, Murder? Are you ready? Here we go. Throw the dice. Oh, no! Grade 5. Grade 5. I know it says 6, but the grades only go up to 5. He's ready. He's ready. Grades only go up to 5. Here we go. Here's your question. Let me just load it up. It's kind of hard to read, so just 1 second here. Here we go. This is fun. Oh, so hard to read. Okay. Ready? You have 10 seconds. God. There we go. All right, you have 10 seconds. Are you ready? Here we go. Do not bother to look it up. You have 10 seconds. The shores of what body of water mark the lowest elevation on Earth, more than 1,300 feet? You have 10 seconds. What is your answer? He looked it up. He looked it up. He looked it up. It is the Dead Sea. It is the Dead Sea, but he looked it up. He looked it up. All right, MurderCom. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. That one, everyone's saying that one was easy. All right. We're going to do, this is a rare opportunity. This, thank you for following, Murder. You might get banned because this is a rare opportunity. I don't believe you. I think you're lying, but I am going to give you a second chance. Okay. And if you lose this second chance, you're just going to get timed out. And then maybe you'll get to play the game next time. One more time. One more time, okay? Here we go. We ready? Here's your second chance. Don't look it up. 5th grade question. Born Araminta Ross, Araminta Ross, Araminta Ross, the woman who helped people use the Underground Railroad, is more commonly known by what name? I think I know this one. Yeah, I do. Wow. Davey is incorrect. Where's my answer? See, he's looking it up, folks. He's a loser. He's looking it up. He's looking it up. Look at that. He's looking it up. What a joke. What a joke. Dumbass. You dumbass. You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. What a joke. One more time for the people who didn't hear the question. One more time. Born Araminta Ross, the woman who helped people use the Underground Railroad, is more commonly known by what name? Shit, you tried. I didn't even see an answer. Nope. I didn't see an answer, bud. Dumbass. All right. Dumbass. You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. It's Harriet Tubman, everybody. Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, everybody. Come on. Underground Railroad? Underground Railroad, everyone? All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for our dumbass participant. Giving us a bunch of dumbass comments. Let's enjoy the silence of their departure for the next 10 minutes. Thank you so much, MurderCom, for your participation in Are You a Dumbass? Okay. But just the timeout, because I can't be sure. Just the timeout. All right. Let's get back to it, folks.
Footages that have now appeared in Ukrainian social media taken by Ukrainian soldiers who are here practicing using Swedish combat vehicles 90 on a training area.
Hey, Comrade Chicken, take your bullshit other way. You know, it's funny to me. You know what's funny to me this entire time, Comrade Chicken? You were talking your absolute bullshit. You were demanding sources from everybody else, which is something I do every single day, every single fucking stream in the Discord. Source. And you haven't provided a single fucking source for any of the bullshit that you fucking said. You realize that? So how about you keep your bullshit, commie-ass nonsense to yourself until you come correct with some actual information. Thank you. Well, thank you. It's very nice. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. There's nothing more arrogant than giving yourself applause. There's literally nothing more insufferable. Yeah, sure. That's the reason. Now get the fuck out of here. All right. You strutted around like a pigeon. You shat on the fucking floor. You pecked around on the floor, pretended like you've won something, like you've won a victory. You haven't won shit. You haven't convinced anybody. Get your links out. Prove what you have to say. Let's see where your sources are. Hey, get the fuck out of here. I'm not down for that
Brazilian
bullshit.
President Lula doing all he can not to meet with Zelensky
This is funny.
at the G7 summit in Hiroshima.
Check what is up, Lula?
Is siding with
I thought Lula was supposed to be a progressive, so I think he's doing this because he wants to be the mediator. Hey, you know where I'm at every goddamn Sunday, so we'll see you on Sunday. You better bring your sources. Come correct. You better come correct talking that shit. I want explicit proof of troop numbers. I want explicit proof to what the fuck you're talking about with troop numbers. Ukraine has more troops than Russia. You better come correct with a source on that one, big boy. Foreign rebel, shut the fuck up. Thank you, Panda Man.
His statements. Brazil deserves better.
Well, look, I think, like I said, I think Brazil is doing, and like Joe Biden's funny. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Like Joe Biden's just assuming that Lula's on his side. But I think Lula is trying to show a little bit of disrespect to maybe get a little, juice going with Putin on the thing. But I think it's a fool's errand. I think Lula needs to, come correct on this one. I don't think he's got the right strategy on this one. He wants to be a mediator. I think he wants to kind of make his name, be a Nelson Mandela or something. Now ain't the time, homie. Now ain't the time. Not right in the gobsmacking middle of the fucking counteroffensive. Right? Now's not the time, man. I think it's the wrong play. BRICS will fail. BRICS doesn't really have any legs right now, right? And the commies on Twitter and stuff talking about this is like the new coalition. China, Russia, Venezuela with its Bolivarian revolution. There's been a ton of attempts to create unity outside of the Western alliance, and I think it's great. I think they should continue to do that because I think the Western alliance needs to be challenged. But in an objective sense, they haven't grown to the level of power that one would need to challenge the Western, power structure, the Western markets, right? You can't build, China has its own separate market that the United States is not allowed to participate in. How, trying to create a market more valuable than the United States market, the Western market, right? It's like, you got a long way to go. And Putin's little, fun invasion here is doing nothing but, putting a fucking anchor around the whole situation. This is funny, dude. Joe Biden is really, he's kind of a character in and of himself, isn't he? This guy, he's kind of, there's a lot of places where Joe Biden is like sticking to convention and is like bog standard and boring, usually when it comes to fighting progressive values. But there's a lot of things where he's like, I'm an 80-year-old man. I don't give a shit, dude. I'm just going to, I'm going to emote. I'm going to say some shit, I'm just going to talk some shit. And I don't know. There's a kind of like laissez-faire kind of behavior when it comes to Joe Biden. I don't understand this guy sometimes. Look at Trudeau just standing there. Look at the face on Trudeau. Hold on. Look at this. This guy, he's got like a pudding face. I don't know. Oh my God. Foreign rebel, please, can you just say the N-word so I can ban you? go ahead and get it out of your system so I can fucking kick you out. Is he? He's not all there. I'm not convinced of this not all there. I'm not convinced of this not all there. He's old. Is he senile? I don't think he's senile. This is a little embarrassing.
Decided to change the head of the U.S. General Staff. Now Mark Milley will be replaced by a former pilot, the head of the U.S. Air Force, Charles Brown.
Raising taxes above anyone making less than $400,000. The economy is growing. The only way to move forward is with a bipartisan agreement, and I believe a common agreement allows us to move forward and protect the hardworking Americans in this country. Now, for the reason we're here. I'm sure you want to come to
All right, so that's interesting. We're just blasting through some of this stuff. I found this to be very interesting. Yeah, Russia never stopped mobilizing. Russians about attacks on Belgrade. I thought this was a kind of an interesting thing to get the opinions of Russians. You know, Foreign Rebel, what hurts my feelings is when Russia, you know, bombs a hospital instead of a fuel depot. That's what hurts my feelings. How many more hospitals do you think Russia is going to have to bomb before Ukraine bends the knee? What do you think? 3, 4, 5? How many more playgrounds need to get smacked by a, you know, artillery shell made in the 70s before Ukraine bends the knee? How many? Troops deployed in the battlefield. Well, maybe you didn't hear me, Comrade Chicken. I really wasn't talking about troops deployed in the battlefield. I actually don't know if that's true or not. Maybe you are correct on that one. I was really talking about troops total. You know, like available troops, like ready to go. Right? It's fair to say that the Ukraine war is a war of attrition right now. And going all the way back to the beginning of the stream, I was talking about how Ukrainian commanders, you know, they're probably feeling a little bit of pressure, you know, and that's probably why they're accepting the help of neo-Nazis, you know, like these Russian separatists, you know, that are willing to do suicide missions, is because there is a war of attrition happening. And Russia does have more available resources to expend on this than Ukraine currently has, even with all of its Western support. No, they don't. They absolutely do not. I have, that is just not true. Even like the, you know, even the, you know, really fair estimates, the ones that are trying to avoid propaganda, say it's at least 3-1, 2-1. I'm trying to do a show here. Davey, can you help me out with this, man? Can you help me, please? I'm trying to do a fucking show. You showed me a link to CIA intelligence. One-time invasion in February and nearly Russian soldiers mobilized. Ukraine's pre-invasion total strength, total. Whatever. You're right. I actually don't care. I don't know how this would change my mind, but yeah, whatever. You're right. I don't care. Sure. Ukraine has more troops on the ground than Russia. Crimea River for Russia. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell argument you're even trying to make anymore here. I'm fucking gaslit. You've officially gaslit me. Congrats. Now will you leave? Smells like a motherfucking communist in this bitch. Will you go, please?
О том, что на нашу территорию напала Украина. Ну, еще также вот ходят слухи от самих же украинцев, то, что напал какой-то русский легион.
Но напала Украина, это сильно сказано. Я не думаю, что можно так сказать. Просто заблудившийся отряд.
Впрочем, ничего нового, учитывая события происходящие.
То есть нормально, что нападают на...
Welcome back, Rob.
Учитывая то, что происходит как бы военный конфликт, один на других, другие на этих. Это логично.
Well, I think I did a very good job of defining the The battle strategy is like the orcs. You are sending meat waves. Okay? It does not change the reality of the situation, man. It really doesn't. Okay? I'm quite frankly, I'm going to need to see a little bit more information because either every source I have heard so far is lying to me. I don't know, the CIA source, whatever. Honestly, whatever. I'm gonna need, do you have some proof to the claim that Russia is not sending wave after wave? Russia is the one that came up with the term meat grinder when describing Bakhmut. Were they describing a kind of meat grinder that doesn't get a lot of people killed in wave after wave? I mean, what are you trying to achieve with this? Because they are sending wave after wave, just like the orcs in 4K. But I do agree though. No, but I do agree that and you see this on Twitter, people just calling all Russians orcs, right? They'd say, oh, this woman's an orc or this man's an orc. I don't know, is this a man? Sorry. He has very feminine features. But no, I disagree with that, calling all Russians orcs. But the way that the Russians fight their wars is this like Stalingrad style, wave after wave. It doesn't matter if we don't need to invest money in training a troop that's just going to die, right? So just send them out there anyway. But I do agree that we need to avoid dehumanizing an entire country of people. And that's why I disagree with what Davey's saying, like, oh, well, she should be deported. She should be deported. Well, okay. I mean, even if she's an immigrant or a guest or, I don't know. Especially if the United States hasn't declared war. That's definitely it. But I don't think that was in the United States. I mean, if that woman was in Ukraine, putting, pro-Russian slogans on her garage, was she in Poland, maybe? So Comrade Chicken, you're going to sit there with your arms folded and try to say that Bakhmut wasn't a meat grinder, that Russia didn't send, the estimates are like 70,000, I think is what I saw. 70,000 dead Russians to capture Bakhmut. So you're going to sit there and say that that's not true. That's just Western misinformation. She was in the U.S.? Yeah, well, I think that's a little different. The U.S. hasn't declared war against Russia. The U.S. supposedly believes in free speech. I think you're allowed to be an asshole in the United States. Fucking sue me. No, I just appreciate some consistency. You're annoying. Are we done? Thank you for your input.
Ну, я не в Белгороде.
Но поедешь защищать?
Не. Ну, мне своя жизнь дороже, как бы, что я поеду защищать, меня.
Yeah. Well, they're getting the point.
Есть, что мне.
That's pretty honest of them.
Слышал, но не знаю. Ну, вот не появилось из-за этого какое-то опасение или дополнительный страх?
Нет, не появилось.
Have you heard about it?
What? I need to go home, bro. Go home. I don't have time.
Okay.
Yeah, don't want to talk
So
about it.
today we're asking people about attacks on Belgrade, who did it, and what people think about it.
А как вы? Собирались, может быть, Белгород?
These guys are so transparent with how they use this show to hit on women. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Конечно, даже все едут. Туристический центр России.
А вот не страшно, что вот его отсоединят от России, там что-то они говорят про Белгородскую республику. А вот не страшно, что вот его отсоединят от России, там что-то они говорят про Белгородскую республику.
Я вот сейчас не знаю, что отсоединят или нет, я не слежу особо за этим. Ну, в общем, как все и все.
Ну,
но вот это я не слышала информации пока еще.
Ну вы не переживаете за Белгород, в общем.
Я? Да. Очень переживаю.
I worry a lot, but I literally have no idea what's going on. Okay. All right.
Как такое может быть, когда вроде все должны быть готовы, а такое до сих пор происходит? Наверное, это странно. пока что, ну, я ничего не знаю больше, так же, как и вы, наверное, так же, как и все, поэтому ничего сказать не могу, странно, непонятно и даже немного больно это все видеть, но вот как есть.
Украинцам, потому что я украинка.
Oh shit! She's in this 1420 does interviews in Russia. This is rare. I don't think I've seen them run into a Ukrainian in Russia. How does that work? How does that work? Are they not allowed to go back to Ukraine? Are they treated as second-class citizens, the Ukrainians in Russia? How does any of this work?
Я украинцам верю, что они не нападали. Да.
Они говорят, что это русские сами на себя.
Ну, скорее всего, так и есть.
Well, thank you, Comrade Chicken. I do appreciate that. And I apologize for my harsh language. Thank you for being an honest actor and speaking truthfully in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, they've done interviews in Russia the entire time. That's wild. How does being a Ukrainian in Russia work?
Украинцы, но сами украинцы говорят, что русский легион.
Я не знаю, я никак не отношусь, потому что я не слежу за этой темой, как бы не интересуюсь, честно. Нехорошо.
Ну, это война.
You know, that he's just like, no, it's too dangerous for me to talk. You tell me this guy doesn't have opinions? Come on. I don't know, bro.
Ну, нехорошо, конечно, я не очень за войну, поэтому...
Ну, это война.
Nice, Finland could use some of that territory back. I mean, how could one even work out like a democratic way to the Crimean situation, right? How could that even work without both sides trying to game it? Could Woke Patriot, would you ever be satisfied if an international electoral board came in and ran elections in Crimea and did a legitimate, independent, transparent referendum that finally asked the question, do you want to be part of Ukraine or do you want to be part of Russia? Would you or anyone else be satisfied with that? You know what I mean? Like the UN, anything. The motherfucking Pope, Mother Teresa, okay? Shigeru Miyamoto, right? Comes down with the motherfucking Mario Brothers and runs a goddamn transparent election. Would you or anybody ever be really satisfied with that? I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no, dude. If Captain Planet himself did the whole goddamn thing, I think the answer would be no. No one would be satisfied with the results. Nothing special. Thank you for coming back. I love the username. So, you know what I mean? So I think it just, like, you know, I think Russia's gone too far. Bucha is a clear example, but it's every day. They're doing these, you know, attacking civilians every single day. Russia needs to be spanked for this behavior. And I know I'm a privileged Westerner saying it, but that's just my gut saying that. You know, when I'm dealing with a bully, and I know it's different in geopolitics, but it doesn't feel that different when looking at what the hell's going on. But, you know, then again, I'm not from fucking Cambridge or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Just feels like Putin needs like one of those plungers stuck on top of his head. You know what I mean? Needs to have his ass kicked. Needs to be a little embarrassed about this. You know, one should be embarrassed about showing your ass to the entire fucking globe. Oh, I'm a big tough military. I'm a big tough military. Can't even invade your neighbor who's in terms of strength. Don't give me your bullshit, Comrade Chicken. But in terms of overall strength, right? It was perceived that Russia had, you know, could defeat Ukraine at any time, right? Roll on in, which is exactly what they tried to do, and they got their ass spanked. There's got to be ramifications for this. Except the UN runs such a thing with Crimea, but I agree that none of the players involved seek an independent Crimea. Ergo, no one could be satisfied except maybe Crimeans who don't matter to the greater powers. Yeah. Nailed it. Nailed it. Woke Patriot. What did I tell you? I have the best chat on Twitch. Okay? Bad actors, get the fuck out of here. Uninformed morons spreading propaganda, get the fuck out of here, right? The only people who are allowed to stay are the people that can actually have a goddamn argument. So I appreciate that. Exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for all your contributions in the chat, everybody. You're all aces. Get back to it. Who is this? Is a crooner from the 70s? Is this David Cassidy over here? Look at this guy, man. He's dreamy. I just want to kiss those lips.
Лично нет.
Such so kissable. I just want to make out with him in my van.
Долетать что-то может, но думаю, не дойдут.
Yikes. Okay, we're not going to make fun of this guy, okay? I'm just saying the contrast between a dreamy dreamboat over here. Look, some fellas got it hard, okay? Some fellas got it tough. But some guys have all the luck. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry.
Но думаю, не дойдут.
He's so kissable.
В принципе, это плачевно, потому что война-то идет, понятное дело.
Like you got Millhouse.
Вот, но пограничные службы-то наши.
No, I'm sure he's a nice guy. Look, I got a big old schnoz just like he does. Look at that. We got basically the same ass schnoz. So what am I talking about?
Задачи. Просто я...
Yeah, he's like, yeah, our border guards should be able to cope with their tasks. They were caught napping, homie. Mother loves them. Look, I bet he's a romantic. Guys like that, they'll surprise you.
Не понимаю, вот в том-то и дело, что пускают всех, но вы проверяйте нормально документы, досматриваете, иначе, я не знаю, коррупция или как они проходят-то. Уже не первый раз подрывают и машины мины закладывают, и военкор вот сколько раз это как...
Yeah, this guy's plugged in. This guy knows what's going on. So he's like, yeah, we've already been poked.
Получается, подрывали даже в личном транспорте, когда он ехал.
A suspect in the car bombing that injured the prominent pro-Kremlin novelist and killed his driver has been arrested. The 30-year-old has been charged with committing an act of terrorism and possession and distribution of explosives.
Вот, поэтому, если уж война идет, то надо свою страну обеспечить тотальным контролем, чтобы никто не мог вот так пройти. А так-то понятно.
Well, then what's your goddamn solution then, Comrade Chicken? You know, because we have the reality and then we got your little theory, right? We got, you know what I mean? And I'll totally agree with your historical, context. That's sure. But what do we do right now, man? Right? The situation moving forward is that Russia needs to get its military spanked for attempting a half-assed invasion of its foreign neighbor. So that, maybe the Russian people and the Russian military and the Russian oligarchy and the Russian government can just be like, look, guys, it's not going to work this way. We're not going to just be able to, it wasn't like, in 2014 during the Olympics when we just rolled in and took Crimea. It's not going to work out that way with this one. A message needs to be sent, doesn't it? Am I crazy here? No, just, what? Independent Crimea? Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? Independent? No one in Crimea. Like, that's the third option that no one's selecting on the ballot. Would just become an independent entity separate of Russia and Ukraine. I realize that, but I can't ever feel bad this land is being used upon in the name of a bigger picture. I agree with you, though. Welcome to geopolitics. I mean, I don't know what the fuck to say. We got to keep moving forward. We're all on this marble together. Keep spinning round and round. Time is linear. We're forced to move forward. Sometimes the worst. So out of the best, we got a pile of shit. We got to pick the shiniest turd out of this pile, right? We got to go with the shiniest turd. Yay, great! Now we're holding a turd. What can we do? Independent Crimea is a pipe dream because the powers that be. Even if the people wanted it, it would never happen. And I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm a pro-democracy kind of guy. I'm just looking at the reality of the situation. If a independent Crimea is to happen, it would happen after Ukraine takes it over and and some time has passed and a legitimate referendum can be had and discussions can be had, democratic discussion, like what's happening in Ireland, right? A long, drawn out struggle that eventually leads to what eventually everyone knows need to happen, true independence, right? So that's how an independent Crimea happens. It doesn't happen just because people want to be nice to each other. I just don't see it. Giving Crimea to Ukraine is the worst option, except all the other options. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Start defending China's claim over Taiwan next? Right? It's the same fucking story. The same fucking story. Like, it doesn't, and this is a case where it's like, it doesn't matter what the history is. Israel is another good example. We're not putting that genie back in the bottle, right? We're not going to be able to just, go back in time and reverse the creation of Israel back in the 1960s. We have to go to what we agree with, which is that, Palestine exists and so does Israel. Here's the agreed upon 1967 borders, and we need to fucking move forward. The problem is the United States doesn't give a shit about that and enables Israel to do whatever the hell it wants to the Palestinian people because, people do. Palestine doesn't have oil, I guess. I don't know. Is there anything valuable in Palestine that the West could possibly exploit? That's why they don't give a shit. Back to it here.
Что это плохо, то, что Шебекина сейчас очень сильно атакуют.
He's plugged in. He knows what's going on.
Если уж затеял войну,
he's a smart guy.
Дорогой или горе президент для кого
great family, steady job. I'm just saying, maybe you should give him a call back, honey. Look, I know, maybe he's not going to win any beauty contest, but he's a really nice guy. He's really stable, and maybe you can learn to love him.
Уж пусть сделает так, чтобы наш народ меньше страдал и меньше людей гибло.
Ну а как думаете, серьезная опасность в этом есть? Там до Москвы могут дойти?
Если оценивать военную обстановку, нет. Это скорее такие диверсионные.
There's a lot more people in Russia plugged in. You know what I mean? Like I said before, like the technology, it's a double-edged sword. It's a fancy collar around your neck. It's a fancy new chain around your wrist. But it's also inadvertently freeing societies. Could this person be this informed about the situation back in the old Bolshevik era? Right? I don't think so. This guy's too plugged in. It's totally illegal for him to know this shit. None of the official Russian sources have given him any of this information that he's repeating. All of this is outside of Russia's influence. And here he is just casually talking about it because it was easy as 1, 2, 3 to get alternative information to what's coming out directly from the Kremlin. See, technology is our fancy chains, but it's also, it's also freeing us. It's doing the same. It's doing both.
Операции, которые проводятся малыми группами, до большого вторжения еще далеко со стороны Украины, поэтому не.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just backs up what I'm saying, right? Like back in the old Bolshevik era, some guy standing on a soapbox talking this shit, he'd get hauled off and disappeared real quick, right? Just for even having this knowledge in his head, right? And now, we just no problem having a talk. Like, no, it was, the attacks that we've seen in Moscow are like drone attacks. It's not, because the Russian government's saying we're under attack from Ukraine. We're being attacked by our enemies. Join the army, be prepared to fight, and be prepared to defend yourself. All these things. And this guy's like, nah, it ain't none of that shit. It's some fucking, internal, bullshit. It wasn't Ukraine attacking us, So there's, it's interesting to see technology just inadvertently doing this.
Операция-то опасна. Люди умирают, всякое такое, то есть неприятно. Но это абсолютно не то же самое, что прям полномасштабное вторжение. Там ситуация другая.
Ну, опасения у вас, например, не появляется, что до Москвы так могут дойти? Или...
Well, what the hell is going on, man? Is he playing Tetris?
Другая.
Do Russians just casually play Tetris while they talk to each other? Is that like a thing that Russians do? They just bust out some Tetris machines, start fucking playing Tetris while they're having like a casual conversation? That'd be so cool.
Ну, опасения у вас, например, не появляется, что до Москвы так могут дойти?
He's just like below the camera. He's just fucking like pounding hard on a Game Boy playing Tetris. Him too. He's all leaned over playing Tetris right now, one-handed.
Я считаю так, нужно прийти в военкомат и сказать, это не мой выбор, не моя война. Вы не можете меня принудить к войне. Вы тогда отпустите меня. Как бы в тюрьму посадят, да, но они не имеют в тюрьму посадить, потому что у каждого права есть от рождения делать выбор. Пускай кто-то и скажет, что да, на самом деле нет никакого выбора, все это фейк, все это миф, но у нас есть выбор на самом деле по праву рождения. Нас его лишают.
А что делать тогда? Чтобы
делать надо объединяться, надо как-то объединяться реально, да.
Ну, вас объявят там
In Russia, this man is being seditious. Right. In Russia, this is all they need to lock him up and throw him away. And this is casually being talked about. This is technology. This is technology work. Do I think this is going to lead to a wide-scale revolution? I think it's going to, I think a lot more needs to happen. But it is really fascinating to me that even in a fully locked down society, information-wise, locked down and controlled, you're not even allowed to hold up a sign, a blank sign, and your ass gets hauled away. And this kind of truth is allowed to exist within this sphere of control. It's fascinating. Time will tell, comrade. Time will tell. Time will tell. I do appreciate your sources, but I honestly, I'm going to need to see a little bit more about what you're saying about troop numbers to be satisfied on that. I'm going to need to see some kind of analysis, because like literally all the people that I trust, and all these different sources are saying Ukraine 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, right? And those, it gets more ridiculous as you go up the chain. But I mean, just check Wikipedia, huh? Okay. So I guess everyone's been lying to me. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for your time. I'll dig into it. I'll do my own Googling. Can we please get off this?
Вот, в том-то все дело. Объявят сумасшедшими. Но по факту команда сумасшедших будет знать, что они не сумасшедшие.
Не сумасшедшими, нацистами, русофобами.
Да кем только да, я согласен. Ярлык любой могут нацепить. А что, собственно, и происходит?
Ну, есть какой-то вот страх, там, может быть, то, что на какие-то другие территории.
Скорее всего, страх именно неоднозначно.
You're on thin ice, MurderCom, so just know that. You're one stupid, dumbass, right-wing obfuscation away from getting fully banned. Don't think I'm going to sit here and entertain your nonsense just because you won some trivia, okay? If you say so, buddy. Change your name.
Того, что может быть дальше.
В случае чего пойдете защищать Белград?
You gonna pick up a gun and rush on over to Belgrade?
Ну, я там ни разу не был, думаю,
This is why Putin is terrified of a mobilization. This is why he doesn't want to call it a war. He doesn't want to do a draft, right? You start scooping up guys like this, throwing a gun, putting a uniform on them. Oh man, you're just going to have mass desertion. You're just going to have mass desertion. Yes, I do, comrade. I hate your fucking name. I do. Call yourself chicken. Call yourself finger-licking chicken.
Как думаете, опасаетесь вот того, что может дойти до Москвы?
Oh, here we go.
Мне кажется, нет. И то, что вот эти вот
See what I mean?
беспилотники летали на это, как его, на Кремль падали, мне кажется, там свои какие-то среди олигархов заварушки, якобы вот смотрите, как получилось, мы добрались до Москвы, но навряд ли доедут, мне кажется.
Russia claims that Ukraine tried to kill Vladimir Putin in the early hours of Wednesday. This is the first video we have. It's in Moscow. You see an object fly in from the left and explode. Now, let's play it again.
Война может окончиться победой Украины, но я не думаю, что это пойдет дальше за...
Look at that, man. The dreamboat. The dreamboat's on our side, bro. Love it. Love it. When the makeout artists are on your side, you know you've won the war.
Граница, за реальной границей
Boy, hide your daughters. Am I right? Oh my God. So sexy.
России. То есть Крым, возможно, отобьют, но в Россию не придут.
Вот сами в случае чего пойдете Белград?
You do not know this guy.
Нет.
Почему?
That is it, woke patriot. You're not wrong. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I think that's why it triggers me. I think you've nailed it. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, dude. I'm a big democracy guy. Everyone who's watched the show knows that, but there's something about that word. It fucks with my red, white, and blue cockles.
Потому что я изначально не одобрял.
I'm a Canadian immigrant from America, MurderCom.
Все происходящее. Сами в это влезли, сами разбирайтесь.
Нет, лично у меня такого страха нет. Мне кажется, что Москва сильно защищена, и даже какие-то политики зарубежные это говорили о том, что все-таки у России есть передовые там и ПВО и так далее. И поэтому я думаю, что Москва защищена, а вот наши приграничные районы все-таки вот за них страшно.
Look, Moscow has nothing to worry about until they drop a nuke. But if they were to drop a nuke, I think they would be quite surprised at how ineffective their air defense really is.
Но им же сколько стран помогает.
The hell we are, Davey. No, you gotta leave your bubble, man. There's a big difference. There's actually a ton of differences. No, I will not stand for that, dude. Absolutely not. There are a ton of differences with politically all up and down the road with Americans and Canadians. Ton of differences.
помогают, они там решат внезапно в один момент, что
Я
всеми
думаю,
силами поможем Украине.
все такое может быть. Я не за одну из сторон на самом деле. Я просто хочу быть наблюдателем в этой ситуации. Не хочу вмешиваться никуда и так далее. Но я думаю, я считаю, что у России тоже есть помощники.
Yeah, you would, woke patriot. Why don't you educate the class on exactly what you're talking about, since you're so damn smart? Woke patriot's too damn interesting for this chat. I don't know why he hangs around here. He's honestly like he's a very worldly fella, I gotta say. My closest Russian friend is a fact named Torva. Ah, I see. Or one people, we need to liberate Canada. Keep that shit. It's so funny, the right wingers who say that shit. Canadians get super triggered by that. That'll be like if a big prominent right winger says something like that, that makes national news in Canada. They're very triggered by that. About America threatening to invade Canada.
Которые, ну, как бы,
you did,
не
man.
все просто, в общем.
Какие помощники? Можете вот перечислить?
Я думаю,
I'm
что,
so jealous of your life,
ну,
woke
допустим, те
patriot.
же страны, арабские страны, там, те же КНДР, как бы к ним ни относились, но, возможно, они могут каким-то образом поспособствовать. Тот же Китай, даже если он и, ну, так сказать, держит какой-то нейтралитет, я думаю, что на самом деле не зря у нас такие, ну, повышается товарооборот и так далее. Мне кажется, что это имеет смысл какой-то у них. Может быть, на этом зарабатывают эти страны, то, что нам помогают и так далее.
Они признали, что Россия это агрессор.
Ничего страшного. Имеется в виду, что, я думаю, там деньги решают все. То есть, возможно, торговля оружием помогает нам каким-то образом.
А как думаете, кто этого напал? Украинцы или...
Oh, here we go.
Ну, мне кажется, скорее всего, украинцы, потому что ЦЕПСО орудует, очень хорошо блокирует и YouTube-каналы наших блогеров, да и не только блогеров, даже обычные музыкальные, это какого, вот сколько каналов, больше, наверное, 900 где-то заблокировано по статистике, и даже блогеров...
Should Ukraine be obligated to, you know, to host pro-Russian invasion war bloggers on, you know? I don't really think, you know, I don't know if the free speech argument's flying there, man. It's different when you're being invaded. Free speech is, you know, free speech has a different context when you're being invaded. It really does. It changes things, right? I mean, and like, would anyone call Germany's banning of the swastika and banning of Mein Kampf and banning of the Sieg Heil gestures wrong in Germany, right? That really does make you wonder, like, okay, what are the limits of free speech? You know, especially in times of war, but even outside of times of war, right? What are some of the things that really, you know, what are that should be not said and enforced by law? I mean, there's, you know, getting into philosophy here, better stay away.
Высказываются за войну, а что-то против.
ISIS supporting journalists in Iraq.
Тоже им блокируют каналы, хотя вот когда украинский,
the whole religious extremist thing kind of changes the whole thing too. When you're dealing with a group of people whose rules are so strict and so strident and so anti-human as the religious extremist, that changes the whole context about liberty and free speech as well. You know, what is the definition of dangerous speech? I think religious, you know, that kind of religious talk, you know, the jihad talk and all that. And it happens in the West too, you know, the Christian dominion, evangelical domination, that kind of talk, right? How much of that is free speech versus stochastic terrorism? Russian soy facing over Western censorship when they can't call it a war in their own country? Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Let the swastika fly in video games. Well, that's a whole other, and now, you know, now we're talking about something else completely, right? Because we're not talking about a swastika in a video game. We're talking about, you know, in this case, the previous question, you know, someone putting a pro-Russian symbol on their garage door. You know, does that person deserve deportation and jail time? You know?
Там убивайте москалей и прочее, это они выкладывают нормально. Ну, мне кажется, все равно это украинские ЦЕПСО, они очень хорошо работают.
Ну, если начнется война...
Well, what if that person was in Ukraine? Right? And they're like, yeah, fucking go Russia, take over this country, you know?
война, то мы все и так пойдем воевать и служить, так что там нет будет способа никак спрятаться или где-то остаться.
Certain deportation is not the same as jail. That's a good point. Good point. Pretty harsh.
Украина не хочет отдавать что-то свое, мы что-то свое не хотим отдавать.
Could she get a warning, Davey? Could she get one solid warning that says, "Look, we're not going to deport you, but seriously, if you do this again, you know, you're gone." Can she get one warning, Davey? Please? Please, Davey? Please? Can she get one warning, Davey? Can I please just do one pro-Russian thing up? Please? Please come up with the Davey, please? I won't do it again. I won't do it again. I promise. Please. I don't want to go. I don't want to go back there. It smells like vodka. No? All right. Damn, Davey over here, hard ass.
Также это рассматривать можно везде. Так же, как и с Америкой, Аляску, которую мы отдали в СССР. Мы дали это на какой-то срок. No mercy. Но потом, как развалилась СССР, нам сказали, ну СССР развалилась, мы заключали договор с ней, с СССР, и все. И нам не отдали Аляску. И мы забили на это.
What is he talking? I'm totally ignoring. What is this fucking? I've like started reading what he's saying. What is he fucking talking about?
Будет в Аляске?
Маловероятно, ну посмотрим.
Holy shit. Okay, this guy, okay, you know, don't date this man. Don't date men like this, ladies. Trust me. Okay, coming from a guys like this, don't give it up. Swipe right, left, swipe the direction that makes them go away. Trust me. There you go. Nazis Nazis are everywhere. That's okay. That's something that a lot of people need to come to terms with. Is that fascism is the mold that grows in the fridge, and you got to clean the fridge. That is not a euphemism for violence, by the way, to the Nazis that are clutching their pearls. But I thought I'd just give you, I'm not going to play any of this, but if you want to look forward to some of the things we're going to be seeing this Saturday, a great, we're not going to watch the whole 25 minutes here. I'm going to try to pick out the best parts if I can, or just the best chunk. But, you know, the talk about Chomsky on his language about Ukraine, you know, his pro-Russian language, and apparently not the first time that he's done apologencia, you know, kind of language for leftist dictatorships or, you know, communist-leaning governments. So we're going to be covering some of that. Look forward to that coming up on Saturday. We're also going to get into this extra clip. So we got into a little Slavoj Žižek last Saturday. We're going to be getting into a little bit more of Slavoj Žižek. Talking about Putin, but also talking about naive belief and utter cynicism. Very interesting topics, you know, in talking about how do we talk about this war? How do we determine who's right and who's wrong? Slavoj Žižek coming with some interesting thoughts as usual. So look forward to that coming up Saturday. Yikes, you know, homeboy over here. I got summoned into the Russian army. The thumbnail is hilarious. I forgot how to make the thumbnail show up. Maybe if I reload it. Yeah, no, the thumbnail is okay. It auto plays. I don't know. The thumbnail is fucking hilarious. Check it out yourself. It's absolutely hilarious. But the Russian dude, everyone's favorite, you know, daily Russian content creator, has officially been called in to fight for Russia. Thankfully, he's not living there. The Russian police did knock on his door. His mother answered the door. He wasn't there. Apparently, the Russian government doesn't have his cell phone number, so he hasn't received a text. But he has officially been asked to join the Russian fight, and he is, of course, not doing it. So big props over here to the Russian dude. Keep up the good work. Make sure you invest. He does the he's like stealing. He's stealing the what's his name? Oatmeal. Who's that content creator? Is really good. Going after the crypto scanner guys, the coffee guy, CoffeeZilla. He's kind of copying CoffeeZilla with some of his things, but that's fine. It's fine. He's a young kid. Let him do what he wants. Check him out. Like and subscribe. The same Chomsky promoted vaccine mandates was going to Epstein Island. I am uncomfortable with equating the misconceived, misconcepted vaccine mandates that apparently have affected the globe and Epstein level pedophilia. I'm just unfortunate. I just can't make that comparison or agree with that. So sorry, Snowbone. But anyway, look forward. We're not really going to show this. Like I just gave you basically a recap of the video. If you want to see the whole video, the link's in there. He only met with Epstein. True. Yeah, he never went in the island. I don't think he ever flew on the Lolita Express. I don't think Noam Chomsky's on any of the what is it, manuscript or manifold or whatever the fuck they call it, you know, when you fly a plane, or you gotta put yourself on a list or something, whatever the fuck they call it. Anyway, bad news for the Russian dude, but he was expecting it. It was coming. The to the gaslighters that are saying the mobilization is over, shove it up your ass. It's absolutely happening. It never stopped. It just got more high tech, I guess. Why he met with Epstein apparently was about money. I don't know why the fuck does Noam Chomsky give a shit about money? You know, he should be like George R.R. Martin, just sitting in a fucking cave, you know, like Stephen King, you know, just typing away another amazing book. You know, man, I tell you what, social media has fucking ruined people, dude. If it wasn't for social media, people would still think Elon Musk is a genius, right? There's so many people that just open their mouth and tell us exactly who they are. And they've, you know, Roger Waters probably, imagine what has Roger Waters done to his own image talking shit on Twitter, right? It's completely ruined all Pink Floyd music for me. Not all of it, but man, I can't listen to that shit anymore without thinking of Roger Waters. Look forward to this Saturday stream. We're going to be covering a follow-up about the French riots, aka French. I mean, these, I think it's fair to say these are not protests. These are definitely riots. The French protest differently. They just always have, and you know, they're lighting shit on fire. They're breaking shit. They're not apologizing for it. And it's fair to, I think, call these riots. But anyway, we're going to be getting a update from Popular Front here. Pretty interesting video. I should double check and make sure it's censored properly. This is a hilarious video. I wanted to queue up for you. Chomsky apparently does a lot of fundraising and meeting with people like Epstein. Why? You know, why? Why would you want to do that? Why? So you can, what, be fawned over? Is that it? So you could be like a little intellectual celebrity? Right? I don't know. We need another Napoleon. L take. Here is your L, sir. Here is your L. As charismatic as Napoleon was, I'm an intellectual slut. Hell yeah. We love intellectual sluts around here. You know, as charismatic as Napoleon was, the guy was like full on empire. Like he, you know, give Napoleon unlimited power and he would want to conquer the world and put a French flag on every single continent. And that kind of megalomania, there's, you know, that is not to be celebrated. And he didn't even follow his men's own advice on Waterloo. He was sick, should have pulled out, should have retreated. Dumbass, you lost the whole fucking effort right there, man. So anyway, here's some Russian propagandists thinking it's all cool, and then they get high-marred, bitch. Get high-marred, bitch. Get high-marred, bitch. He was not short. He was a smaller dude, but he wasn't like a dwarf or anything. Seriously though, I'm so full of myself in regards to my own intellect. Yeah, it's really off-putting. Am I supposed to pat you on the back? It's a terrible personality trait. Anyway, watch these Russian propagandists get a little poopy in their pants when the HIMARS come in. When people tell you so smart, what are you doing? Yeah, okay. All right, buddy. Yeah, why are you wasting our time then, huh? You're right. Stop wasting our time. Oh, no! Oh, it's so unfair! What did we do to deserve this? What did we do to deserve this? The Nazis are coming! The Nazis are coming! Ah! Can you believe these Nazis? Just trying to film some propaganda. Holy shit! Ooh! Ooh! Time to get the fuck out of Dodge, boys. Golden Ratio could tell you everything about like some esoteric World War II tank battle strategy. But do you even vote? You know what I mean? Do you even vote? Oh, kill me, man. In Roblox. Roblox. Minecraft. Anyway. Get Heimard, motherfuckers. Get the hell out of there. You know? What did we do to deserve this? I just picture them like thinking that like, oh, they're coming. Oh, these damn Nazis. Like, well, maybe don't invade the country. Have you thought about that one? Another thing you can look forward to on Saturday's stream, an update on the inquiry, Chinese interference in the Canadian elections scandal that's rocking Canada. We'll be getting into it a little bit more. This is a great debate from CBC here, getting into it with some experts, talking about the different angles. I found it really interesting. Probably won't do the whole 17 minutes, or maybe we'll go ahead and just, do the playback 1.5 speed it up a bit to get through it. But very fascinating what's happening here with the special rapporteur inquiry, position of the NDP, position of Pierre Poilievre, these different forces vying, and Justin Trudeau over here making an ass of himself by not doing an official inquiry and trying to do this stupid special inquiry. How are you going to put you can pick anybody you want to be in charge of this to be this special rapporteur that we've never done in Canada before. How are you going to go ahead and pick somebody that's so close to you, so close to the Trudeau Foundation, just more neoliberal, just more neoliberal, up their own ass, completely unaware of the political situation, think that they can get away with it, and it could affect the elections. This makes, honestly, it's not making the Conservatives much stronger according to the polls. It's actually making NDP more strong. Breaking news: Ukrainians build hospitals under Russian missiles. Yeah, I mean they rebuilt. Ukraine rebuilt Bucha. Those fuckers hit a hospital. Yeah, they do it every day. So look forward to that coming up this Saturday. That was a joke. I see. Sorry. Also coming up this Saturday, we will be covering the fascists, Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk. We'll be covering Ron DeSantis's embarrassing, failed attempt at some big. I honestly think Ron DeSantis thinks that he's going to get some kind of like big preferential treatment on Twitter, and actually did not realize that Elon Musk doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, doesn't know how to run a company. His idea of running a company is just coming in there, firing everybody, saving. He saved a bunch of money. I bet that first quarter after firing everybody looked really sweet. All that money he saved, not paying everybody. But hey, guess what happens when you don't, invest in your platform? It becomes incapable of handling stress tests, and that's exactly what the Ron DeSantis debacle was. It was a massive stress test that showed the weakness of the platform. The one thing that I'm realizing about these fascists, especially compared to the fascists of the old, is they're incompetent. They're selfish, narcissistic, completely full of themselves, but also wildly incompetent, and sure, Ron DeSantis is definitely, he's good at certain things here, but when it comes to his own public image and how he's been, trying to get ahead of Trump, wildly incompetent. I thought he had a plan. Elon Musk is an oligarch who supports fascists. Is he a full-blown fascist? I think, ask yourself this, Comrade Chicken. Ask yourself this question. Okay, and you've been honest all day, so let's be honest about this, okay? But ask yourself this. If Donald Trump, Comrade Chicken, listen to me. If Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis were to not step down after their presidential term was over, right? Disregard democracy, do a special, military, military law, all that kind of shit. No more democracy. If Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis were to do that after his term is up, do you think Elon Musk would challenge that? Do you think Elon Musk would be like, I'm banning the government. The government, do you think Elon Musk would join in the fight against a Ron DeSantis or a Trump or a Republican government in general taking over the United States and, basically functionally ending democracy? Do you think Elon Musk would fight back against that? Because I don't. I think Elon Musk would play along, would go right along with it. And I have to ask people, does that make you, if you agree with a fascist doing fascism and you acquiesce to fascism and then work with that fascist, does that make you a fascist? You got all this power, you got all this money, you got fascism right in front of you, and you don't fight it. What does that make you? So look forward to that. Pretty big hypothetical leap. The Republicans makes you a collaborator. Okay. So you can agree with and help fascists and still not be a fascist. Really? And in terms of OG Snowbone, your response there, pretty big hypothetical leap. The Republicans are currently doing everything they can to change local governments to basically, dissolve democracy in their states. Greg Abbott just signed a bill that basically allows them to nullify and redo elections if they don't like the results, right? All they need to do is engineer a shortage on ballot papers, and they can trigger a re-election in elections that they don't like. Arizona has passed a bunch of laws that allow them to, tweak the results of elections that they don't like. All the gerrymandering, of course, but it goes way beyond that. DeSantis is a strong supporter of Ben Shapiro. I think he could really help DeSantis a lot. Ben Shapiro, homie, you're giving a lot of credit to Ben Shapiro. I mean, Ben Shapiro has a lot of eyeballs, and he can sell some coffee or whatever the fuck he's selling. He can sell some T-shirts. But does Ben Shapiro have the power to sway elections? I don't know. I think you're giving too much credit to Ben Shapiro there, bud. Can you support a fascist without being a fascist yourself? Clearly, it is possible, but is likely unworkable in the long run. I'm just saying, what's the difference between a collaborator and a person? You support. It's it's fascism. You support it anyway. It doesn't matter that if you were like one-on-one, have a sit down and be like, is fascism bad? They go, no, or yes, fascism is bad. Does that matter at that point? If they're, if they're, using their resources to contribute to help fascism, which is what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter. But I get your point. Any governments that support regime. Ben Shapiro is very popular among conservatives. Yeah, but he's also a peon. You know what I mean? So that he supports DeSantis. All right. I mean, I'm here for it, baby. I'm here. Grab the popcorn. Get those Republican primaries fired up. I'm here for it. I'm going to be covering every second of it. So definitely look forward to that. Not much, except von Braun actually went to school and learned something. All right, let's go ahead and get, before we go, let's get one more update, a map update from Ukraine. I wanted to play this one here.
Updates along.
It's only 1 day old, so I apologize. It's slightly old. Not too old though. But I thought there was some interesting information in this specific update from Ukraine. So we'll go ahead and do this last one, and then we'll call it an end to the news flash for today. I got to actually get back to work. So let's see here. Let's jump in.
Day 455. Today there are a lot of updates along the entire front. When it comes to the Belgorod region, today the Freedom of Russia Legion and Russian Volunteer Corps declared that all goals of their special operation were achieved and they returned back to the base on Ukrainian territory. Soon, the commander of the Russian Volunteer...
You know, and look, I'm not expecting war bloggers to be unbiased, but I pointed this out in the Discord, and I got to say, Western sources and, you know, war blogger sources, they're not really talking about the fact that these guys are unapologetic fucking Nazis, a lot of them. Okay, and I don't, you know, I haven't seen proof that there's any difference between one or the other, but one of these guys calls himself the Hitler's hammer. You know, there's pictures of them with the Ukrainian flag with the white hood KKK symbol, white, you know, the white hood guy in a white hood. So, yeah, counteroffensive is on. Chem Goblin, it's happening. It's on. It is on. I don't think it's gonna. It's starting though, like D-Day. It's not like D-Day with, like, you know, but I think it is. I think it is happening. I think it's on. All right, hookups. I think you think that you're funny. I think you think you're like entertaining us or something. That you're like really clever, and we want to hear what your opinion is. You couldn't be more further from the, you know, from reality here. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Be gone with you. Greetings from South Boston. It's your boy, Lenny. Coming in right at the end of the stream. Thank you so much, Lenny. #1 financial contributor to the stream. Thank you so much, Lenny.
Your course, Dennis White Rex, give an interview.
Yeah,
and
the leader, exactly. OG Snowbone, the leader, White Rex. Like, none of these mill bloggers are really talking about this.
Everything that happened. First of all, he said that the most important takeaway from the operation is that the Russian bureaucracy makes them completely incapable of reacting to any unusual developments.
No problem, Lenny. You got a life.
The commander of the Freedom of Russia Legion gave the same assessment and specified that they did not face any resistance and moved freely for hours.
That's embarrassing.
This means that if it were a planned large-scale offensive,
well, that is
Russians would have lost.
You know, and we're supposed to believe that Russia is literally, you know, pissing their pants, terrified of any second NATO and Uncle Sam and Ukraine going to invade Russia, right? That's their stance. Our pants are soaking. We're so scared. Russia, you know, Ukraine and Uncle Sam are going to get us. They're going to invade through Poland. NATO is going to get us, right? That's what we're supposed to fucking believe. When in reality, they got skeleton crews running their border. They don't have air. They don't have proper, you know, air defense set up in obvious paths that are heading towards Moscow in terms of, like, you know, how you'd shoot a missile. Like, where would you shoot it? What would the trajectory look like? You don't have air defense set up along those lines. Come on, man. This is a fucking joke. They're not fucking worried about an invasion. They're not worried about Ukraine invading. Great. And there goes my internet. Wow. Disconnected. Wow. Wow. Disconnected. Can anyone hear me? There we go. Wow. And my internet dude, I got doxxed by, dude, Putin doxxed me. I got doxxed by Putin, dude. You believe that shit? I got doxxed by Putin. Paranoia is a feature found in many aggressive autocratic regimes. 100% Oculus. Thank you for coming back, by the way. So cool. You got all you folks coming back. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Belgorod faster than the Kharkiv region.
Welcome back to the News Underground.
Secondly, Russians spent billions on erecting all sorts of fortifications along the entire contact line.
I got temporarily disconnected for 5 seconds. Sorry about that.
The first line of fortifications was located around 2 kilometers from the border, while the insurgent forces managed to get 10 kilometers deep by using just 2 tanks. The Institute for the Study of War gave the same assessment and stated that such an easy and deep penetration emphasizes the weakness of this fortification.
Yeah, exactly, Woke Patriot. Yeah, if you called yourself that, one would assume that, right? No, that was me, Chem Goblin. No, they're upgrading 5G on the corner. They're doing some fiber optic thing.
At least when not fully manned by well-prepared and well-equipped soldiers. But the most important objective that these forces managed to achieve is force Russians to relocate their troops from the front.
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying. I mean, it's like if this isn't the prelude to something, if this Belgrade operation is literally just pissing in the wind, like just, you know, I don't know, letting off some steam or just, you know, trying to embarrass Russia, that's okay. But man, it would make a lot of sense to time this with something bigger. And I think that's exactly what we saw. And I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I think that is exactly what we saw. Ukraine timed it correctly with these bowdy Nazis. And it was like, okay, yeah, go ahead, head north. We'll soften them up with some artillery, you know, get Russia's attention, get Russia to divert some resources to that area, and then push.
By the end of the second day, the insurgent forces started facing elements of unspecified motorized rifle detachments, which is why they promptly withdrew to the Belgorod region. The motorized rifle elements will not return to the front and will continue to stay in Belgorod because the threat of such attacks remains.
No. It only works if Russia is just like spanked. You know how like when a little kid is trying to fight you and the little kid is really angry and he really means it and he's punching with all of his might and you just literally just like hold him back without, you're like having a conversation with another adult, you're not even paying attention. How embarrassing, right, that is, like if that wasn't a child, right? But now picture if that was a country, right? That's what needs to happen. It's just like look, we know you're full of shit. We see your bullshit. You're not fooling anybody, right? You're not fooling anybody with fake referendums and claims to this land that, oh, it was ours in the past, and the contract that was signed that gave Crimea away, he signed it while drunk and it doesn't count, and we're not buying your bullshit. No. We're just completely disregarding this clear and naked attempt at imperialism. We're just literally gonna fucking embarrass you. Okay? That's what needs to happen, right? So no invasion, no land grabs from Ukraine, just a simple slap in the face that says we're just not even going to entertain this, right? And we're not, and we're not a threat to you. We're not a danger because everyone knows that. No one who's an honest actor believes Ukraine's going to invade Russia. So I am a little uncomfortable with Russia, you know, going along with, you know, the couple hour occupation of some of these towns. Right. It is a little, but, you know, I think they did it the right way, though. If they poke the bear in the right way, and there goes my internet again. And there it goes again. 1 second. Then are we back? OK, I think if you have to do something like this, they did it the right way.
In order to force Russians to relocate even more troops, Ukraine started destroying Russian forces in the Belgorod region with drone attacks. Russian sources reported that Ukrainians used up to 15 drones of various types.
Comrade Chicken, they have more troops, but their military bureaucracy does not allow for the proper distribution of these resources. The Russian bureaucracy fails time and time again to respond rapidly to these situations. That's why we're seeing it. They have more resources. They just don't. Their system is so wildly inefficient. It doesn't know what to do with them.
Russian forces that were deployed to the border reportedly suffered from grenade-dropping drones, while bigger kamikaze drones hit deep inside the Russian territories. And this is not surprising, because Ukrainian reconnaissance could observe in real time how and where Russians are redeploying their forces in response to this crisis. The strikes will likely continue to intensify, and the accumulated losses of personnel will likely prompt Russians to redeploy even more troops. But this is not the biggest strike that Russians have been facing recently. As you remember, Russians are redeploying their forces from the south to the north, not only because of the situation in Belgorod, but also because of the falling apart flanks in Bakhmut. And on top of the falling apart flanks, the Wagner...
Damn, is there, I don't know how accurate what his little arrows on the map are, but are they really pulling away resources from Melitopol? Are they really pulling away resources from Melitopol and Kherson area to assist with this effort to push these guys out? If so, that's amazing. That's truly like a victory for Ukraine. If they were literally able to force Russia to move resources away from Melitopol, that's nuts.
The group is planning to leave Bakhmut in a few days, which further...
Or Mariupol, I mean. Mariupol, not Melitopol. Mariupol. Mariupol and Melitopol, I'm sorry. They're both... This is Melitopol right here, this is Mariupol. But like, if Ukraine truly was able to get them to pull resources away from there, which is a lot of people, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, a lot of people are speculating that, look, if Ukraine is going to take Crimea back, it's going to be through this route. You know, Davey agrees. I've heard other military analysts talk about how this is the smartest way to do it. To cut through here, We got Melitopol right here, Mariupol right here. So obviously they would occupy both of these. And then what you would do is that you would split your forces and split your effort, right? You'd push up north, then while you're also pushing up south, and obviously probably disproportionately send more troops south, because there's fortifications, there's lines of defense all the way through down to Crimea. And if you were to start a military adventure down in that direction, you would need a lot of resources, a lot.
Necessitates filling the void. Such a massive movement of troops is a perfect opportunity for precision strikes. Today Ukrainians conducted a powerful hammer strike on the Russian objects in Kharkiv. Local residents reported hearing multiple explosions, and Russian sources reported that Ukrainians targeted areas of DPR forces concentration.
You think so, golden ratio?
This is a very interesting detail, because the Russian High Command reportedly decided to substitute Wagner forces in Bakhmut with the DPR forces, so it looks like Ukrainians managed to catch them on the move. 2 days ago, Ukrainians used their newest weapon and conducted a Storm Shadow missile strike on Berdyansk. The target of this strike became military facilities next to the airfield, and the missile reportedly successfully reached its predetermined destination. Some Russian military analysts quickly connected the dots with the recent strike on similar facilities next to the airfield in Mariupol and concluded that Ukrainians are planning to eliminate the most capable pilots in the Russian army.
Yeah.
The continuation of such strikes...
Yeah, the Storm Shadow shit, you know, it gives them these capabilities. They need as many fighter jets as they can, because you need a fighter jet to launch these Storm Shadows. This war has been anything but quick. Sure. Do you think it's fair that, because do you think it's fair to judge Ukraine for defending itself, even if it takes, a couple years to do that, or, 5 or 10 years to successfully push Russia out? Is it fair to, because what some peaceniks, what some bad actors are saying is like, oh, Zelensky's a murderer for getting his people killed. Instead of capitulating to Russia and negotiating peace and giving up a chunk of Ukraine and negotiating peace, he's getting all of his men killed, because he's fighting back against what is obviously going to be a losing war eventually. Even if they're winning in the short term, they're eventually going to lose in the long term. That's kind of the argument. I don't agree with that, obviously, but I don't know. I don't think a country that is defending itself from an invasion should be dinged because it's taking longer than what people would prefer. It's kind of an interesting argument.
In combination with the recently announced supplies of F-16 fighter jets, could mean that Ukrainians can achieve air superiority.
Comrade Chicken, I would disagree that the front line has changed so small. I mean, no, I would agree. You're right. The front line has changed very minutely in the last 6 months, really, after the last major Ukrainian offensive. But hey, the counteroffensive is go. The counteroffensive is on. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I mean, Ukraine. I think though, what is important to point out is that Ukraine needs to deliver. There needs to be results. If Ukraine does not take considerable portions of its land back from Russia after this counteroffensive is declared over with, right? And it's never really declared. It's just kind of like, okay, well, they're kind of running out of steam, right? If Ukraine hasn't had major territorial victories, I think we will see big time pushback on Western support for Ukraine, and that's just an unfortunate reality. I think that is reality, though. They are more than willing to fight. They are, you can only do so much with what you have, though. And if you start losing Western support, it's going to be a lot harder to justify all those deaths when people are under-equipped and, getting themselves killed because of it.
Especially if they narrowly concentrate on a particular front. Another potent strike happened near Donetsk. Local residents reported that Ukrainians conducted multiple attacks on warehouses in different parts of the city, and on the fourth attempt managed to destroy an ammunition depot that the DPR forces made on the territory of an auto center. Lastly, a fierce strike happened in the Kherson region. Several days ago, various sources reported about the relocation of unspecified detachments of Chechen forces. The information was once again leaked because a Chechen fighter was carelessly using social media. According to the unconfirmed reports, prior to the strike, around 100 troops arrived in Oleshki on 8 trucks, 5 cars, and 9 armored fighting vehicles, which were likely the targets of the strike. Overall, Ukrainians continued destabilizing the situation on various parts of the front line by using the most versatile tactics, such as sabotage and reconnaissance activities in the north, successful counterattacks in the east, and precision strikes on command centers in the south. By losing the initiative, Russian forces got themselves in a position where they are reacting to the developments put in motion by Ukrainians, while Ukrainians in turn are destroying Russian forces that are being redeployed in an attempt to adjust to these new developments. If you're against the invasion of Ukraine,
there you go. I mean, that is a day old. So I mean, and this this is moving so quickly, but that I just wanted to show that it does appear like the Belgrade situation was a prelude to something much larger. And like I said before, I don't think it's going to be a D-Day like situation where thousands and thousands of troops are moving, and pushing at the same time. Maybe though, I think what we're going to see is Ukraine putting all these resources, poking, prodding, trying to find where a weakness is, and then once a weakness is found, exploit it to its absolute maximum, and then once that advantage has worn down, and then we pull it back. I think Zelensky has always been pretty cautious about getting his people killed, and I think he realizes that while he doesn't have an infinite amount of time, he does have enough time to not be suicidally rash, right? Like, a lesser leader would have said, I'm not going to give up Bakhmut. It's the propaganda victory is going to be too big. Russia is going to, dance on our graves. We need to sacrifice everything to hold Bakhmut, and making a really, really bad decision, right? And instead of what Ukraine did, which was hold Bakhmut as long as feasible, do strategic and smart pullouts where necessary when your forces are overwhelmed. Because yes, Comrade Chicken, Russia is pouring an inordinate amount of forces. It is 2-3 to 1 in some of these cases. I need to see more information on that. I'm sorry. Just need to see more information on that. But so I think that's what this offensive is going to look like. It's not going to be this big Michael Bay movie. It's going to be, okay, we got the resources in place. Operation. Poke it. See where the weaknesses are, then exploit those intelligently. And if it takes another year, if it takes another 2 years, I think Zelensky is ready to do that. And I think as long as Zelensky plays by the rules, as long as there's no beheading videos coming out from the Ukrainian military, as long as the Ukrainian army isn't invading Belgrade, really smart to use Russian neo-Nazis to, basically just, show the world how ridiculous Russia is, with its claims of, being afraid of an invasion and then not even properly defending itself. As long as Ukraine plays by the rules, it can expect a consistent level of support. And I think that's what the game that Zelensky is playing. He's like, okay, we got this machine humming. I got the support. I just need to produce victories. And I've done it. I've liberated my country from Russia for the first time in fucking, centuries. Look into the history. Look into the history of Ukraine and Russia, and tell me that Ukraine is not the victim of Russian oppression for centuries, for decades. The entire population being forced to learn Russian, and just the list goes on and on and on. And finally, it might happen. True freedom, true independence. I think it's the F-16s. Is it F-18? I don't know. They're going to be, I think they're already on their way. The problem is pilots. Exactly, Oculus. Exactly. And that list. And look, I'm not apologizing for the war crimes of the United States by pointing this out. Tankies that are shaking your head right now. It actually is possible to criticize Russia and the emperoric desires of the Russian government while also criticizing the United States and the military-industrial complex for its obvious crimes. You don't have to be a NAFO right, to do this. It is difficult, though, for the left. I don't understand why the left is having such a hard time with this. But anyway, folks, I'm Abandoned Nihilism. This has been the News Underground. Thank you so much to Golden Ratio, Oculus, Lenny, Comrade Chicken for pissing me off the entire stream. Chem Goblin, thanks so much, Chem Goblin, over there in Ukraine. Hopefully you're safe. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you for coming in, Chem Goblin. Golden Ratio, the smartest person on Twitch. Golden Ratio, everybody. Big props to you, Golden Ratio. OG Snowbone, love that name. Congratulations, OG Snowbone, stopping in. Thank you for your opinions in the chat. Davey, big props to Davey and Woke Patriot in the Discord. Great job in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, that's just exclamation point Discord. Get you that link, that invite link. Come on in. Continue the discussion over there in Discord. You can look forward to a big fat stream on Saturday. Tomorrow, huh? Saturday, we're going to be doing a big stream, 6-7 hours, covering news from across the world. You betcha we will. Come on in. Stop on in. We'd love to see you. Yeah, but this is, I'm going to try to do more of these. Equal Dari, I see you there, Equal Dari. Thank you, Equal Dari. OG Equal Dari. Thank you for stopping in real quick. Appreciate it. I'm as safe as it gets. Thanks. Glad to hear it. Excellent. Chem Goblin safe, folks. What would we do without Chem Goblin? I'd be devastated, Chem Goblin. So you make sure you let us know if you're ever in danger, okay? We want daily updates, okay? I care. I do. What time EST? Oh, it usually starts around 12 PST. What is that? 1 hour, 2 hours? 2 hour difference? 3 hour? I don't know. 3 hour difference? I don't know. One of them. Around 12 o'clock PST. Look forward to it. Woke Patriot in this motherfucker. You guys are great. Best chat on Twitch. Best chat on Twitch. Most informative news program on Twitch. You found it. It's the bottom of the barrel. It's in the politics section, but you found it. You found real information on Twitch. Congratulations. Folks, thank you so much. I'll tell you about my 3-step program next time, okay? I got to get back to work. I got to get back doing IT. Ugh. Kill me. Can we please have some parasocial relationships where you motherfuckers dump millions of dollars on me for every goddamn utterance? Can we get to that level, please? Can someone please just fall in love with me and then empty your wallet into my pocket, please? No? Okay, no. Okay, it's wrong for me to do it. All right, everybody. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Shut up, Lenny. Lenny has contributed far too much already. Thank you, Lenny, for all your contributions. And I will be making a Patreon for extra special individuals like you, Lenny, so you can contribute without having to buy a bunch of garbage, without having to buy a bunch of merch. It's fucking useless merch. All right, so I will get that set up for you, Lenny. All right, thank you, everybody. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. And we'll see you tomorrow, Saturday. See you tomorrow on Saturday. Lenny, #1 OG in this motherfucker. That's right, this is the news motherfucking underground. Real motherfucking news. Real motherfucking news for real motherfuckers. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that elephant in the room. Yeah, we talking about that elephant in the room. Oh, are you uncomfortable? I'm sorry, are you uncomfortable? Welcome to the motherfucking news underground. Keeping it real, baby.
Maybe